How's the weather up there on the high horse that you fed with your daddy's money? How's it feel to be fake as a motherfucker? Hey, let me tell you something. They don't give a damn when the money's gone, when the people in the stands don't sing along. Cause you know you ain't the man that's behind the song, thinking it'll work, but it won't. Ain't no truth on the radio station. Somebody owes me an explanation. Well, I get knocked down, I get back up. Anything they ask you, do it. Well, I know the ringer, I've been drugged to hell and back, been through it. Your time's tick-tock and I said, and I'm unapologetic. Cancel, yeah, you can try. You can't cancel what's been tonight. I ain't been handed shit, no silver spoon inheritance. Tired of trying to be what other people want me to be. And now you get what you see. Now you get what you say. Well, I get knocked down, I get back up. Anything they ask you, do it. Well, I know the hell am I been through it. Your time's tick-tock and I said, and I'm unapologetic. If you need an explanation, well, I get knocked down, I get back up. Anything they ask you, do it. Well, I know the ringer, I've been drugged to hell and back, been through it. Your time's tick-tock and I said, and I'm unapologetic. And I'm unapologetic.
Well, hello, friends. We're live from the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine, and I'm not going to lie to you, that was a lot. David Smith of Armchair Commentary joins me. We are in Indianapolis, and we just got back from Lucas Oil Stadium, and we saw a lot. Before we really get into all of the things, we kind of want to explain what we're going to do with the show tonight. So we're going to give you a little background, and then we're just going to fire into it. Get your questions, draft questions, anything that happened today, get those in the chat. We're going to answer those. We have 3 separate Mullets mailbag segments today. So Dave and I combined, since we have been in Indianapolis, have each slept about 8.5 hours total.
Yeah, I think 10 would be the most, at most. This guy's running on a lot less.
This is our 4th night.
Yeah.
So we have to get some form of sleep. So we are going to use this live stream. We are going to record this, and we're going to use this as the ESPN show tomorrow. So this, if you listen on terrestrial radio, you will hear this again, maybe not in the same order, not 100% sure. We're going to figure that out on the backside. But we will cut this up. We will use this in different shorter form videos. It's basically going to be 9 organic segments talking about what just happened today, what to look forward to for the rest of the weekend, all of those things, because we have to be back at the convention center in the morning. So if you hear things that sound a little clunky and it sounds like I'm doing setups, it's because I am. So we wanted to get that out of the way from the jump. So get your comments in there, your super chats. If you throw a super chat out there and you don't hear it immediately, that's why. The second that a recording or whatever stops, we will get it in there. We're going to use your chats just exactly like this was a live recording for just like a live stream for ESPN Radio. It is the best we have because we have no tank.
No tank. And we tried doing the live 2 days ago.
That made for what was quite possibly the longest day of my entire life. So we don't want to do that again.
It was
and
very
we can't
difficult.
be here from noon to 3 tomorrow because we have other engagements.
We got a lot of interviews tomorrow, a lot of workouts tomorrow, and it's pretty important. So
Yes, so if you see new people come into the chat and somebody wants to take up the mantle of explaining that, we would greatly appreciate that. So we're going to hit record right now, and off we go. Live from Indianapolis, Indiana, it is the 2025 Ingles Living the Dream Tour at the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. I'm Jeremy Green at ESPN Draft Nerd. This is my wheelhouse, and this is my road dog, my partner in crime, David Smith of Armchair Commentary, and our sister YouTube channel, Great North Sports. Dave, after your first night at the NFL Combine, what'd you think of that?
it was a lot. You can really, I think there's a lot to be said about seeing. I think you called it it's a bare interview. It's a pretty bare and an open interview. It's plain toast.
Well, it's
interview.
Well, it's not even that. It's completely sterile.
It's sterile
because everybody's on the same plane.
Absolutely.
There is no hiding.
No.
When you come into this situation in Indianapolis, if you have a deficiency, we're gonna find it. Whether it's something in your past, whether it's something physical, whether it's body makeup, whatever the case may be, if you have a genuine, no doubt deficiency, we're gonna find it.
There was a lot of winners today. We found a lot of winners at the workout. There were a couple of people who hurt themselves. We're going to be diving into that a little more. Any major takeaways from your end? This is your old hat at this now.
Well, I mean, the biggest takeaway is that Shemar Stewart is not of this world.
Unbelievable.
I believe we need to research him, because I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that in my time covering the draft. I'm going to give you a stat on Shemar Stewart. Since 1987, we have had 1,800 defensive linemen that have worked out here in Indianapolis at the Combine.
Yep.
We have given an RAS score to every one of those players. How many do you think have a perfect 10 RAS and are higher than Shemar Stewart?
That'll be none, Bob.
You want to hear it again? We just saw a workout in Indy that is unlike anything we've ever seen before. Now, what does it mean? This is where I feel like you have to be somewhat, I'm not going to say careful. I'm going to fall in with Shemar Stewart exactly where I fell in last year with Xavier Worthy.
Yep.
You care to tell me what you saw today that really stunned you?
And nothing that I saw. It was impressive.
It was very impressive.
Doesn't change my opinion.
It was very impressive, and it was better than I thought it would be.
Yes.
So if you didn't see the raw numbers on Shemar Stewart, he ran a 4.5. Sorry, I'm going to try to do this without laughing because some of this is just absolutely incredible. He ran a 4.59 40-yard dash,
Yep.
which is freakish in and of itself.
Yes.
1.58 was his 10-yard split. So 10-yard split is the first 10 yards of the 40-yard dash. It kind of shows just the acceleration, the get off, the first step, all of those things. That is impressive. Talking about an edge, if you just put a pin in it and call it good right there.
Yep.
Then you dive a little deeper, and you find out that he measured at 6'5".
Yes, that's not a little fella.
He came in here at 267 pounds, which was a significant drop from when he was at the Senior Bowl just a handful of weeks ago, which tells me 100% where his brain is at, and I think it's where it should be, which is he's going to play on the edge.
Yep.
6'5", 267 running a 4.59 is not of this world in the first place. Then you get to the fact he has 34 and an eighth inch arms.
Yep.
And now you're getting full into, the tape itself has Shemar Stewart somewhere in the top 25. The production is still a problem. He has still only had 1.5 sacks every year for the last 3 years at Texas A&M.
Yes.
When you watched him on tape, when I watched him at the Senior Bowl, when wherever you want to go with this, nobody ever looked at Shemar Stewart and went, that guy's not a freak of nature athletically. I believe I've said it on this show no less than 20 times.
He's been unbelievable, and we've said that. There is the element of the A&M guys just not getting the production, and it will hurt.
give him a pass on that because we've had so many of those at Texas A&M. I would be curious. Just this is the first class with Mike Elko. I don't know if that changes anything. I think he's a better defensive coach than what they had under Jimbo Fisher after he left and went to Duke.
Yep.
So I'll give you a little bit of a pass on that, as I would have in the past, because I've always given a yeah but I do have the yeah but of it was Mike Elko. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm just looking at, so production score wasn't great, like you mentioned.
Production score's terrible. He's 26th among edge rushers here.
Yeah. But boy, when it came to things like broad jump, unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. Nearly 11 feet. And I need to put that in perspective. I am 6 and a bit feet, and you are 6 and a bit feet.
I am almost 6'5". I'm 6. I actually measured myself the last time we were here. I did not do it today. I will do it on camera tomorrow. I believe I'm 6'4" 3/8",
which means I am somewhere in the 6'2" almost 6'3", and that would put him jumping about my face if we were stacked on top of each other. He'd be right about my throat.
That would be the length.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm stuck on with Shemar Stewart is, I'm going to say something negative and then I'm going to say something positive.
Yep.
I knew he was an athletic freak. I'm not surprised by that. I'm not going to say it doesn't change anything. It just doesn't change much. Yeah. I've told you for 2 weeks he was going to come here and absolutely blow it out at the combine. It doesn't change the tape. I saw Mina Kimes, actually Dave pointed this out to me, that Mina Kimes was tapping out on the workouts. She's here. Yeah. She just didn't go to the workouts. And she said, I'm going to let the tape speak for itself. I think that is a very good way to go about this to a point. To a point. Now's the positive. Nobody could have known he was going to do that. Nobody. I don't care who you are. His family members could not have known that he was going to do something that we have literally never seen before. You have all the raw tools to be as good of an edge rusher as we've ever seen. The comp in the building. So I'll draw you a picture of how this goes from inside the stadium. We're in the stands at Lucas Oil Field. So there is a block for media. You look around, there's all kinds of people working for ESPN, NFL Network, a lot of faces that you're very familiar with. Mm-hmm. We started looking around. The vertical is on the other side of us. So we don't really know what's happening there as it happens.
Yep.
Then he jumped. NFL Network put it out, and we went, that 6'5" fella over there just jumped a 40-inch vert. And that's a lot.
40-inch vert is unbelievable.
Then he jumped the 10-11 broad jump. And that 6'5" fella just went 10-11 in the broad jump, which, oh, by the way, was the longest broad jump of the day.
Yeah.
Then he comes over to run the 40, and I knew he was fast. I was sitting with some of our locked-on guys just talking about Shemar, and we all said, he's going to run fast. The question is, how fast?
He ran a 4.6 flat his first...
He was 4.6 and some change. I want to say it was 4.62.
Yeah.
And then he came in at 4.59 on the second one. That's a level of raw athleticism that you're in the 0.00001% of people on this earth.
Yeah, he's absolutely got to be one of the winners of the day.
For me, he is the no doubt winner of the day. He's the no doubt A1 since day one. He won the combine, and nobody is going to change that. I don't care what we see for the rest of the week. You just did something that nobody... I am 37 years old. You just did something nobody has done at the NFL Combine in my lifetime.
Yeah.
The last time this happened, the Combine was at the end of January. Nobody could get into it.
Yeah.
And nobody did it then. That's just when we started tracking this.
It's unbelievable. It was unbelievable to watch. And you knew when he was running, you go, that's pretty quick.
Now, this is where I go, let's let the rubber meet the road.
Yep.
What does this mean? All right, so to finish off my thought before we get there. So we're there, they're putting things up on the video board because we can't hear the broadcast.
Yeah.
So they're putting up comparisons of your athletic profile, comparing it to other players that have been at the combine.
Yes.
Do you know who the athletic comp on Shemar Stewart was?
No, I didn't see it.
Miles Garrett.
Yeah, that's a pretty good comp.
And he was, oh, by the way, a full 1/10 of a second slower.
It's a pretty good comp.
It's a pretty good comp. And it's one that I look at and go, for Shemar Stewart, you just made yourself a lot of money. Now I ask you this question. You made yourself a lot of money. Where'd you make it?
Oh, that's a great comp.
Who's the team that's going to lose it about Shemar Stewart and take him in the draft? And I just want to go down the list. Tennessee, I believe Tennessee is committed to Abdul Carter.
I believe you're correct.
The foot injury notwithstanding, he's not going to run. He didn't run today, obviously. He thinks the foot injury is not that big a deal.
Yep.
He's going to run at the pro day.
Yep.
What about Cleveland at 2? Do you think it's untoward that they take Shemar Stewart at 2?
I think for a long time, we had been thinking that Cleveland was going defensive player anyway. We thought it was Travis Hunter.
Hunter.
And then there was a ton of smoke that Cleveland was in love with Cam Ward. And that has been kind of the MO basically since we got here.
Adam Schefter said the one thing he is the most confident of that he has learned since he got here is that the Cleveland Browns are taking a quarterback at 2, and his sheer belief is that that's Cam Ward.
I still think that that's probably what's going to happen. I think
they take Cam Ward?
Yeah,
I agree with
so.
you. All right, the Giants at 3. If Cleveland takes Cam Ward, you've still got Shedeur Sanders, you've still got Travis Hunter, you've still got Shemar Stewart.
They're in love with Shedeur.
I agree with you. I think there's a possibility they would still take Travis Hunter.
I agree too.
Because the Matthew Stafford thing is out there. I'm not going to believe it until I see it.
And we talked about this morning off air about does Hunter get to New England? And I think that if he's available.
If Hunter's there for New England, I feel like Hunter goes to New England.
Yes. Jacksonville?
I think the range on Stewart starts at New England.
Yes.
Because if Travis Hunter were to not be there, then I do believe New England would seriously consider Shemar Stewart at 4. I believe Jacksonville would seriously consider Shemar Stewart at 5.
Mm-hmm.
If there is no Shedeur Sanders and there's no Cam Ward, I think the Raiders would seriously consider him at 6. I know the Jets would consider him at 7.
Absolutely they would.
What's his drop dead spot?
San Francisco.
Carolina Panthers.
You think
There's
that's
no
8?
path he gets past the Carolina Panthers. Not after what he just did.
No, I know.
A team that is that locked into athletic profile and things like that, there's no shot he gets by Carolina.
I don't think it's possible.
What Shemar Stewart did in day 1 of the NFL Combine, in terms of the workouts, he made himself millions of dollars because he gave himself a safe floor. We have talked about Carolina for as long as I can remember, talking about at 8, I don't like the way this draft falls because I don't like the chances of Mason Graham being there.
Totally.
I don't like the chances. There is no chance of Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter being there.
No.
Then you start getting into, well, what do you do? There wasn't a pass rusher that made sense at 8.
No, there wasn't.
There is now.
Yeah, sure
There's
is.
actually 2 of them. We're going to get into that in the next segment.
I don't disagree with you here. Carolina makes a ton of sense, and I guess I see a path where it could go, but I don't think it's likely. I think it's highly unlikely he gets past Carolina.
I will say there is no path. I'm going to read a question out of our YouTube chat from Putting in Work with Bill Workman from NFLDraft.net. Bucky Brooks has Mason Graham falling to the Panthers in his latest mock. If that happened, how dangerous is the combo with Derek Brown? If it were to happen, you have, I believe, one of the better young odd man fronts that I've ever seen. The problem is you still don't have a nose tackle.
No.
You still don't have a nose tackle. And so against the run, I've got 2 good ends, but you're still so susceptible up the middle that I don't know what you're supposed to do with that. Which I wanted to read that question right here because I'm going to say this. I think after Mason Graham, first of all, Mason Graham got some bad advice.
Yes.
Not running, and trust me, we're going to talk about that at some point today.
Yep.
I think Mason Graham got some bad advice because the arms came in short, the hands came in small, and all he did was lift.
Yes.
And he was out there with the guys. They showed him on the screen in the stadium no less than 20 times.
Every time they could.
So he stayed in quicksand.
Yep.
Mason Graham has had questions that people have been asking in scouting circles for weeks, for months.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then the measurables came in, and anybody that didn't like him, I just gave you on a platter a reason to not like him.
It's a free reason not to. And I asked you if he hurt himself by not running. So did he need to run? And you were like, I think he should have run.
I'm not sure that he needed to run. I think I wouldn't have been upset if he did.
Yeah.
If he thought he was going to come in here and run slow, knowing what we now know about Shemar Stewart, then I'm glad you didn't run, because you think it hurts you how good he was. It would have been even worse had he run.
Yeah.
And it had been slow. Ladarian Carr in our YouTube chat gave us a super chat. I apologize. I don't have any buttons today with just the way it's set up. So Ladarian, I owe you a super chat button. The Panthers had a formal meeting with Shemar Stewart.
Not surprised.
I'm not either, because after we saw him at the Senior Bowl, we knew the Athletic was going to be insane.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was going to be this, but you have the formal meeting with him, and now I think you have a very safe floor with Carolina and Shemar Stewart.
I don't think I'm not convinced he gets to Carolina.
I
get the path. I understand the path.
I don't know who would take him in front of him, because so every spot in front of Carolina, I go Tennessee. It makes sense with Abdul Carter. Cleveland makes sense with what we've heard here with Cam Ward.
Yeah.
The Giants make sense with Travis Hunter or with Shedeur Sanders, whichever way they go. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
If Hunter's there, that makes sense to New England. If he's not, Will Campbell makes sense to them.
Yep.
If it's not Will Campbell, then Shemar is in the discussion.
Yes.
Jacksonville, I still think Mason Graham makes a lot of sense. I think Will Johnson makes a lot of sense. The Jets and Carolina are the two that I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But what he did is he put the floor in. You're not falling beneath that.
There's been a little bit of smoke on your Jets and Jackson Dart, so
we'll get to that later.
I know
The quarterbacks don't work out for what feels like 8 days from now, based on how little sleep we've had.
yeah.
He is David Smith of Armchair Commentary and Great North Sports. He is my road dog here at the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. We're here with Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. Our favorite grocery store, the only grocery store in the mountains of western North Carolina to take care of all your food needs, and they take care of us. They allow us to do these things, living the dream. Parks Ford of Hendersonville with our beautiful mobile studio that David finally got to ride in, because we hadn't actually left this general vicinity in 4 days.
No, we haven't.
And then Clarissa sells WNC.com. We're going to take a quick commercial break. There was another winner in day one of the workouts, and I don't like having to look at people and go, you remember that thing that I told you, and then going, I told you so? I don't like doing that.
Yes, he does.
Oh, no, I don't like doing it. I freaking love doing it, and I'm about to. Vocally, loud, and repeatedly. It's coming up next right here on ESPN Radio Asheville, 92.9, 880, and 1400, live from the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. For those of you that weren't around for the explanation of that, we are recording segments for tomorrow's ESPN radio show. So Sir Jimothy asked a question. Let's see. Oh no, that's a good question for us to do later. We'll read it now and then we'll address it later.
Yeah.
So it's a super chat. We don't have a super chat. Actually, we could have a super chat button. Now that I think about it. Now that I'm not recording that last segment, let's see. That worked. And we owe Ladarian one of those as well.
Yeah.
We're fat people and we like food. Sir Jimothy said, talking point when finished, y'all two pick a few players you disagree on, explain why. Also, y'all keep up the good work. Thank you, Sir Jimothy. We're running on about 15 seconds of sleep. So we're both about delusional, and we have full Whopper belly from Burger King.
Some Burger King bellies.
Oh boy, they brought a mess of burgers here, and we put in work. Mm-hmm. There's still 2 sandwiches in there. I'm not gonna lie, there's a good chance one of those chickens gets eaten before I go to bed.
Yeah, it might be a bed snack.
So we can do that. We'll do that in. We'll record that as a segment.
Yep.
Some point in this. This is gonna be a pretty long live stream.
Yes.
So if you have questions, get those in. I do see your questions. We're going to do mullet mailbag 8 to 10 to 12-minute segments at the end of each hour. So I see those. I will get to them. Just give me a little bit of time. We have to make sure we have enough content because, Cantankerous had a...
Mr. Crash.
Yeah, his new nickname is Crash. He had a little bit of a setback today in his rehabilitation. No hospitals or anything like that, but a little boo-boo. So it's on us, and we want to make things easier on him. So that's why we're doing all of that.
Also, we're gone all day tomorrow.
Yes, we're not in. We're
gone.
There will be no. There will be no
YouTube
here
live.
There will be no here, so we don't have the ability to do it. So, Sir Jimothy, that's why it took so long to read the super chat. I apologize for that, but we will conspire that and do it as a separate segment here momentarily.
Yep.
All right. We're going to come back with another segment on another winner that we had that I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty happy about. Here we go. 2025 NFL Scouting Combine live here in Indianapolis. He's David Smith of Armchair Commentary and Great North Sports. I am the ESPN Draft Nerd. Jeremy Green. It's Indianapolis. 1 day of workouts, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm already spent. We talked in the first segment about Shemar Stewart and how he was absolutely out of this world. And then there was another guy with just incredibly orange shoes that he did stuff too.
He ran real fast. So fast, in fact, that the entire stadium, when they saw the split, went nanners.
So, all right, so the first time Pearce ran...
It's James Pearce Jr., by the way.
Yes, so James Pearce Jr., kid that I've been super high on. I've had him in my top 10 the whole time. None of that's changed. It's not going to change.
Yep.
He runs the first time, and there was the split popped up on the screen, and there was a murmur of, oh, that's fast. And then the time popped up. Yep. And it was a 4.5 flat. Fastest time of the edge rushers in the first run.
Yep.
Then there was a little murmur of, when he came back up, of how fast can he run? Because it wasn't clean either run.
No.
The second time he goes 4.47.
And he fell out of the gate.
He stumbled out of the gate.
He stumbled out of the gate. It wasn't a clean run the second. Well, neither of them were clean, but he had an incredible... I think he could have gone maybe a 4.4.
I don't think he could have gone all the way to 4.4. I think he did somewhere in that 4.42, 4.44. Yeah. But even that, the 1.56 in the 10-yard split, that tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it confirms what I saw on tape. That thing that I've been telling you about, he's an immature kid, I don't care. You know why I don't care? Because what I just saw him do in a workout is confirmation bias. Why do you think I've been so dogmatic about James Pearce? And let him fall. You will regret it, and I will make fun of you for the next 10 years. All of you that need pass rushers, we're going to let him fall because, we don't take low character guys. We're the Atlanta Falcons. We don't. That was just an example. I heard this from about 8 different teams.
Yeah.
We don't take guys like that. Well, you damn sure better. Because if you don't, he's going to haunt your nightmares for the next 10 years.
He was unbelievable to watch. And you could tell, there's a difference when a guy came up and you're like, there's some interest in him. Everybody had eyes on Pearce. There were conversations happening in the stands and the media section. People were having, chitter chatter about what's going on, what's happening. And all of a sudden, Pearce comes up for that second run, and everybody stopped. And everybody turned their heads. and everybody was glued to him. It was absolutely electric, and I think he absolutely has punched his way much further up. And you've already been high on him, but where does he fall now? Because this is another guy that was already high in your books, already had a reasonably good grade. He absolutely improved it.
After today, I would say his floor is San Francisco at 11.
He could crack top 10.
I think New England would be in the discussion for him at 4.
Yep.
I think the Jets would be in the conversation for him at 7, Carolina at 8, New Orleans at 9, Chicago at 10, San Francisco at 11.
Someone's going to get a gift here.
And I'm not going to lie, I don't care if he doesn't recycle. I don't care if he doesn't rewind VHS tapes.
I heard he hasn't called his mother.
I don't care if he hadn't called his mom since 1998. I don't care if he calls the day after a date. I don't care if he leaves the toilet seat up. Unless you give me something tangible about him, he's going in the top 10. He was always going in the top 10 because he was always going to do that. I think it's so funny that people come at me like I just say things because I pulled them out of my keister. Dave, you've been here with me for 4 days.
Yes.
We didn't prepare this. I'm not going ventriloquist dummy.
No.
I'm asking you an honest question.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
Yep.
with 1 being not at all and 10 being completely, how prepared do you think I was coming into this combine for things like James Pearce and Shemar Stewart?
10. Actually, it's probably more like a 15 or a 20. It's untouched. To the point where other people come up to you asking the questions that you already know the answers to.
Well, I mean, and I'm not infallible. There are some of these that I miss, but I also have technology on my side. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier now because you can short shuttle a guy with game tape.
Yep.
There are a lot of things that make this easier than it was when I started.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the things that's always kind of blown my mind about Mel Kiper.
Yes.
Mel Kiper was a wizard when this was impossible, and I think it's just that he doesn't use the technology because he still does it with his eyes. Which is fine. He's still the godfather of the draft. But a lot of these things are not rocket surgery. Okay, James Pearce, I almost don't even want to take credit for this because I think anybody that evaluates film, anybody that watches film should have looked at James Pearce and gone, that boy good.
He's good.
Real good.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah, James Pearce I think he's one of the best players in the draft. There's a great chance that I end up with him in the top 5.
If not for Abdul Carter's, if not for falling in love with Abdul Carter and not having because we have some really specific teams at the top. Cleveland needs a quarterback. Is he not potentially a top 3? If Shador wasn't what the Giants wanted,
and you got 2 teams that are locked in on quarterback. The Giants have to come away with one.
That's the problem.
Well, I mean, it's. I almost hate saying it's a problem because it's so consistent with drafts over the years.
Yes.
We always have quarterbacks go at the top unless the class is just completely bereft of upside. 2022 was bereft of upside.
Yes, it was.
Kenny Pickett had no ceiling. Malik Willis had a ceiling. He had a floor that was. I don't know how far the basement goes down. I know there's a mouse that's been just messing with me, like just poking his head out like, boo, and running down into it. It's so far below the basement of this house that it probably gets to Earth's core.
Yeah.
We don't have that with these two, with Shador, with Cam Ward. How high do I think he could go? New England. I think that's where we start the clock on James Pearce.
New England, all of a sudden. So when we arrived here, we start talking Monday, all of the pre-work, New England was pretty well locked in on 1 or 2 guys where it was like, these are probably going to be the guys that are available. This is what's going to happen. Day 1 of workouts happened, and now there are like 6 possibilities for New England, and how they pick is going to dictate who gets what Prezi after. You get a gift, everybody's going to get something.
So I know Dave quite well, and he's a great follower of this here program and a great supporter of this here program. So I'm going to assume you watched your Patriots 3-round mock draft early.
I did.
So you watched it. Did you watch it early?
Yes.
Okay. So did you go back and check the comments?
Yes.
After?
Yes.
Did you notice what I was telling Patriot fans that were calling me an idiot on Will Campbell?
Mm-hmm.
It was the same 2 words. Be patient.
Just wait.
Yeah, it's Will Campbell right now. And we actually have a question from Randy Lutz on New England. Greg Bedard reports Will Campbell's arms measured at 32 7/8 inches last April. Is he a tackle or a guard? We're talking about New England, so that fits in nicely here.
Yeah.
I look at New England now and go, you have James Pearce.
Yeah.
That I think is 100% within the discussion for you.
Yep.
You have Will Campbell, who I've told you for as long as I can remember, you keep shoehorning him in the guard. I can give you about 20 examples of guys that had shorter arms than what I thought he was going to have. I didn't have that number until just now. I haven't verified it, but Greg Bedard's he's pretty good reference.
Yep.
So if he says it, I'm inclined to believe that that's coming from somewhere.
Yep.
I think Campbell can play tackle. I think his floor is a really good guard. This is the same thing I said about Rashawn Slater. It's the same thing I said about Peter Skoronski. It's the same thing I said about Ike McQuanu. I preferred Aquanu at guard. I preferred Skoronski at guard. Slater and Campbell, I don't really care.
They ended up in a pretty ideal position, especially after today.
All right, so I'm going to teach you a dirty little secret of the NFL draft that I use this every year.
Yeah.
Take the quarterbacks. Take how many quarterbacks you physically believe there is a path in the world that they end up in the top 10.
Yeah.
Take the number of generational talents that we have. You and I universally agree it's 2.
Yes.
I believe there is a third, but in terms of you and I agreeing, it's 2. How many quarterbacks can go in the top 10? 3.
It's 3.
Cam, Shador, Jackson Dart.
Yes.
If your pick number is less than the number of generational prospects and quarterbacks that could go, you're going to be fine. Now, if you want an addendum onto that, how many players with strong combines, with strong senior bowls, with strong shrine bowls can get themselves into a top 10 discussion and maybe flirt with the top 5? You want to add that in there? I have no problem with it. Those get a little more bootsy.
Yeah.
Because look, I mean, as much as we talked about Shemar Stewart, I still see a bust potential in him. And it's the bust percentage number is going to be pretty high.
Talking about Pearce and potentially at the Patriots, Randy mentioning that Vrabel's a culture guy. Pearce is absolutely a Vrabel guy, though. Like, he's a hard-working high motor, absolutely going to push. He's a high talent. I don't think that the character issues are going to scare off New England here.
All right, so here's what I would say about character with Mike Vrabel. Will Levis had character issues. Mm-hmm. Jeffrey Simmons had character issues. I can't remember if I believe he was the head coach there when they took Simmons. I'm 99% sure. He was gone when they took Tavondre Sweat.
Yep.
He had some issues that were largely similar to Pierce.
Yeah.
This is not, he was dragging a dead body into the back of his car.
No.
He likes to smoke a little weed. He was a smart aleck to a cop.
Yeah.
It's for me. I don't see any way he's not on New England's board. I don't, because he's too good of a fit.
He'll be on New England's board. I can tell you.
It might not be at 4.
No.
It might be, hey, New England looks at trading back. Maybe one of the quarterbacks falls into place there at 4, and they can move back, because New England now is in the catbird seat of, hey, you know that thing you said about we had to take Will Campbell because he's the only offensive lineman here? Weird. No, he's not.
No.
He's not the only offensive lineman here. And there are a bunch of guys we can get. The depth of this class is getting better every single day, and guess what? It's going to get better tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
New England's in great shape. And they're in great shape because James Pearce came in here and absolutely blew it out at the combine. He showed that he can be, I believe he can be an elite pass rusher in this league.
Yeah.
And with all of the things he showed yesterday,
yeah,
I have no reason to believe that he's going any later than San Francisco at 11.
No, I think San Francisco's the absolute floor.
We have more winners from here day one of the workouts here at the 2025 NFL Combine. We're up here with Ingles Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings for the 2025 Ingles Living the Dream Tour. 2024-25 is coming to a close. We're still working on 25-26. I told Dave something that could be coming next year. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool idea. If you're a big NFL guy and you don't necessarily love college football, but you want a reason to watch college football and a way to watch college football, I might have one of those.
You might have something.
Might be talking about that after this year's draft. And it'll always be brought to you by our friends, Ingles Supermarkets, Parks Ford Hendersonville, and Clarissa Sells, WNC.com. We'll be back with more winners and our first Mullets mailbag right here on 92.9, 880, and 1400. It's ESPN Radio Asheville. It's the Sportsocracy. He's David Smith. I'm Jeremy Green, and we'll be back right after this. Okay. For those of you that didn't catch it, we're recording the ESPN show. We're plugging and playing because we have to get some sleep or one of us might die.
So, Timothy, this video is going on YouTube, though, so the live will still be available after.
Yes, so the live will be up, and we're going to section this off into individuals.
So this will be, the content that we're recording will be on the radio tomorrow. This video won't air at radio time tomorrow. It's already there. I assume we're not doing another.
No, we won't do another placement.
Yeah, so you can rewatch it. So if you have to go to bed, don't worry about it. We've got the full live, including the sections where we're just kind of chatting like this, where it would be a commercial.
Yes. So what we're going to do now is take your questions out of the chat. I'm going to read them in order. We have you talk for a minute because I got to do some math. I also have to make sure I don't save the wrong video.
Yeah,
because there's some videos in here that would end badly for me.
Yeah, this is what happens when we lose all of our sleep. I'll pull up the chat on my phone here.
Okay.
We'll scroll back up to the top. The losers. Brad Hallman wants to know the losers, guys who could.
Well, don't do losers yet. We still have a segment.
We have a segment.
And don't answer questions because we have to record that, and I'm not recording.
I'm not recording. I'm not saying anything.
Oh, okay.
I'm just getting you questions in your head. I want you to think about them. JPJ.
There we go. All right. So now we're going to record a Mullets mailbag of your questions.
Yeah.
Keep flooding your questions. We're going to do 3 of these. They'll be the end of the hour, and now I just remembered what it was that I was doing. Between complete sleep deprivation and ADHD, I'm struggling a scoosh. All right, so we need to go 15 minutes right here.
Okay.
So you keep an eye on the clock because I'm not going to lie. That red...
Yeah.
Little Mister Can't See color, that red's tough.
I'll give you one of these.
Okay. And here we go. Mm-hmm. Back here in the Indianapolis Ingles studio, Sportsocracy live on ESPN Radio Asheville, 92.9, 880, and 1400. I'm Jeremy Green. He's David Smith. And we are live in Indianapolis. Took in the first day of workouts yesterday, which was fantastic. David's first day of lives in the building for Lucas Oil Stadium.
Phenomenal.
Was it everything you thought it would be?
Yeah, it was pretty phenomenal. I didn't have any expectations because I was trying to just experience it in its entirety and was not disappointed in the slightest.
So now we're going to do, and we're going to do this with the end cap segment of every hour of this program today. We're going to open up Mullet's mailbag, and I do not know these questions. I have not seen them. Dave is going to fire them at me, and I'm going to answer them off the top of my head the best that I can.
We just finished talking about this guy. Did James Pearce Jr. claim his number 2 edge spot?
He's in the discussion. Abdul Carter's the one. The foot injury is just not that big a deal. It's a hairline stress fracture. What I was told today is that it is, if he had not been at a podium and have to explain why he wasn't running, it would have never been mentioned. You would have never known anything about it.
Yeah.
In terms of who's the two, I think JPJ is up there. I think Shemar Stewart's up there. Mike Green is now on more the periphery, probably lining up at about 4.
Yeah.
One of the things that makes me not definitively want to say that JPJ locked up the second spot is that Shemar Stewart was so good too, and he came out much thinner, which makes me think he's trying to tell NFL teams, nah, dog, I'm not a move up and down the line guy.
Yeah.
I want to be an edge.
Yeah.
That's what I do. It's what I wanted to do. Now, for the first time in the last handful of years, I'm making the decisions. I lost the weight. I'm showing you that I could do it coming out of the combine or out of the Senior Bowl into the combine. I think it's those two.
Yeah.
Then a drop off to Mike Green. Little drop off because the character issues potentially, of which that story just keeps getting weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder. And then there are a bunch of guys in that next tier.
Yeah.
So I would say right now you've got Pearce and Shemar Stewart as 2A and 2B.
Speaking of the consensus number 1, does a surprise injury to Carter affect his draft stock
No.
at all? Not even a little.
Less than 0.
Yeah.
I have a hangnail right now because I was biting my nails in the in Lucas Oil Stadium. That will have more of an effect on my stock as an ESPN draft nerd than that foot does on Abdul Carter.
Did the Georgia kids hurt themselves by not working out?
Okay, that's a good question. Hurt yourself? No, because you're resting on your laurels. You're resting on the tape. You're telling people, you know what? I don't have to come in here to the Underwear Olympics.
Yeah.
Should Michael Williams have run? Yes.
Yes.
Should Jalen Walker have run? Absolutely. This is a situation where I think guys are saying, I'm going to rest on my laurels. Mm-hmm. And it's not necessarily what you should have done because your laurels ain't as good as you think they are. There's a lot of questions about all of these guys.
Yeah.
And you've got guys that, what's his name's eluded me. Landon Jackson.
Yes.
I can't believe I forgot his name.
Yeah.
Landon Jackson did great things today. So now, all right, so now as an evaluator, here's what I'm doing. I loved Landon Jackson before. I don't love Michael Williams. I don't love Jalen Walker. I'm looking at Landon Jackson, who's 6'7", and had one of the best, I think he had the best vert of anybody today at 40 and a half inches.
40 and a half.
I'm looking at that and the way he ran and the way he moved. Now you've let him get back into the discussion. Because now I'm looking at the Senior Bowl going, that's a blip.
Yeah.
So do I think they hurt themselves inadvertently? Yes. If you're locked in, Abdul Carter could have come out here. He could have come out here. I'm trying to think of the most ludicrous thing he could have done. He could have come out dressed like Bozo the Clown making balloon animals for people. It wouldn't have changed anything. Travis Hunter had the biggest swath of reporters I've ever seen.
It was impressive.
In front of his podium today. Those guys aren't going to hurt themselves. I want to hear you talk, which we did. I thought they were both impressive. Running, not running doesn't mean anything. Michael Williams is a fringe first-round pick. You not running is dumb unless you don't think you're going to run well.
Speaking of not running well, why are Mason Graham and Will Johnson not participating at all? Is this a bad sign for teams or not?
Will Johnson's still not 100%.
Totally
He was very open and honest about that.
Yeah.
I actually think Will Johnson's media availability was about as impressive as I've ever seen. Where he was kind of combative.
He handled it.
He did. He knew the questions were coming. You could tell he had been coached to a point, and you could tell that his agent told him, "Go be yourself." Yeah. Go to the question that I heard was somebody asked him about straight line speed and if he was afraid to run the 40 so we would know. Look, he's going to run the 40 at his pro day anyway.
Yes.
Now, is he going to have a very friendly stopwatch guy? Sure. But we all have stopwatches too. So, I mean, it's not like we're not going to know what he ran.
No.
Everybody thinks that official time is official. It's not. I have a time for every one of these guys that has been, enhanced by AI. It's kind of like that thing they're going to use to mark the ball. We have access to that. So, we know what the time is, and we're going to know what the time is. I don't think Will Johnson hurt himself. Mason Graham did because he has just little kitty pig hands.
Tiny hands. Didn't he have tiny? Was it he that had the tiny arms too?
No, that's Chris Paul.
Chris
Chris
Paul.
Paul has T-Rex arms. Like, I'm not sure how he goes potty because I'm not sure how he gets it in his hooves.
Looks like Ezeraku put up really good agility numbers, but didn't run. What's up with that?
Donovan Ezeraku. So, all right, I'll just go ahead and get into this. I was going to do another segment on this, but now we've been asked a few questions about it, so I should get into it. The surface in Indianapolis, there are agents, and trust me, take the list of guys that didn't run and go look at who their agents are. You can figure out who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. They're not comfortable with the surface.
Yeah.
Because it is that synthetic rubbery dot turf, but it's longer.
Yeah.
And so there's a thought. It didn't serve to mess with James Pearce at all. Although if it did, that means he's even faster than what I just saw.
Yeah.
And some of the agents did not want their guys to run on it. One of them has a name that rhymes with Stu Slozenhouse. Mm-hmm. He didn't want his guys to run on it because the fear was that longer turf that they're not used to was really going to be a problem, and maybe the times weren't going to be as good. I will tell you, in the drills, I've been doing this with the combine for a lot of years. I've now been here 2 years in a row. I have never seen so many prospects fall on the turf. Ever.
There were a ton.
It was like every third player was struggling. Now, you also have to remember that they don't change cleats. Yeah. So it's everything's moving at such a speed. You see it on television. You're not actually seeing how quick all of the movement happens. You don't have time to change cleats. So you come out in speed burner turf cleats. That's part of it. But I did see that and go, maybe there's something to the grass. I don't know. I'm not going to hold it against guys, but you better run at your pro day.
One last one here before we take another break. Jahad Campbell ran pretty quick, but came out small at just 235. Does that hurt his stock as a potential edge linebacker hybrid type? I know your thoughts on him have been evolving as potentially as an edge.
Well, I just didn't evaluate him as an edge. He was a player that I looked at and I said, I like the edge snaps better than I like him as an off-ball linebacker. Did coming in thin hurt him? I will say no, because 6'3", 235 is still a weight that some teams evaluate as edge size.
Yeah.
Also, you're going to come into their weight program, potentially add good weight to the frame. I think what helped him more than anything is that he ran really fast. 4.52 was solid. Yep. 6'3" is solid. Mm-hmm. I can deal with your weight. I can add weight to your frame. Yeah. I can't make you an inch taller.
No.
The arms, they're fine. It's not an elite measurement. It's not terribly small. At 6'3", it's a little short. Yeah. It's not Chris Paul, who is the first one I've ever seen that his arms are. It starts with a 2.
Comic. Yeah.
He's a T-Rex.
Yeah.
But guess what? Secret time. I still don't care. I still love him. I think Jahad Campbell helped himself. I don't know how much. The thing that's more of a struggle for me with Jahad Campbell is beauty's going to be in the eye of the beholder, because it's going to matter how you evaluate him, how you plan on using him, what your plan is for him, where he's going to go. There are certain teams that I will like Jahad Campbell with. There are certain teams that I won't like Jahad Campbell with. I thought he was a winner of day one.
You absolutely was a winner of day one. Before we take the break, I know I said one more. Look, we got time. We got time. We're going to do one more. We need an all small hands, all small arms team. Do you have
oh, Lord.
Do you got 5 guys you can put on this team right now?
Oh, God.
Kenny Pickett at quarterback.
Jalen Milroe is going to be up there. He's got little teeny tiny hands. Let's see.
We're pulling deep.
Give me a minute. Ask me another question out of the chat, and I'll.
We've got a 3-round dream draft. First, Tyler Warren. Second, Scattaboo, Skate Cruncher. Third, Jack Betch. That's for the Saints. How do you feel about that as a dream draft?
Okay, say that one more time.
We've got Scatacruncher in the second, Tyler Warren in the first, Jack Betch in the first. I'm assuming Scattercrunchers, Cam Scatterboo.
I would assume that's who that is. Jack Betch in the first doesn't make any sense.
Jack Betch in the third.
Okay, you said in the first.
Sorry. I am tired.
For sure for the New Orleans Saints. Okay, so I'm going to be really honest with Saint fans. I don't know why you're so obsessed with adding a running back.
You don't need it.
No, you do.
Not that one.
You need other things way more. Running back is. I like this running back class because of its depth.
You don't.
There is not depth at other positions. There are things that New Orleans needs right now. Defensive linemen. If you're going to let Paulson and Adebo walk, you still got Kool-Aid. I don't really know what you're planning on doing at corner. Your line gives me the angina, but you're invested in it. I don't understand why running back is so high to Saints fans. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm not saying anything to Gomaha. I think Gomaha's a really bright guy.
Yeah.
It's he said Skate Cruncher is Gray Zabel. Gray Zabel won't be there in the second round. I don't think. So, I mean, in terms of, I love the thought of Tyler Warren going at 9 to New Orleans. I'm not going to say he's had bad press this week. He's just been largely here. If the workout's really good, that might change things.
Yeah.
But there's just not a lot of heat with him.
Yeah. The most important question at all right now, Jeremy, have we been to Starbucks?
I swear to you, the next time I see Ian Rappaport, I've seen him every day. Of course, I've seen him every day but today.
Go Big Dog.
The next time I see him, first of all, Big Dog.
Big Dog, dapping him up.
With the air quotes on Jordan Schultz for, according to my sources, Big Dog.
Wow. It's free to say stuff in this country.
I'm probably going to steal that because I like that line a lot.
It is my line that I coined back at my place, and we use it on Great North all the time. It is free to say stuff, and Schultz just said stuff.
That's the weirdest story.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, Ian Rappaport at Rap Sheet, he went into Starbucks, what was it, yesterday?
Yes, yesterday or 2 days ago.
Jordan Schultz, who is also an NFL reporter, had put out that
Tom Brady was tampering. He was courting.
Yeah, basically he said Tom Brady's too stupid to be an NFL owner and hosted Matthew Stafford on a ski weekend in Montana. And Ian Rappaport went, no, that's insane and you're crazy and I'm good at this and I'll leave it at that. Jordan Schultz confronts him in a Starbucks and says, if you keep doing that, we're going to have a problem. I swear to God, the next time I see Ian Rappaport, and we have met more than once, I love Rap Sheet. First of all, he's 5'5".
Yeah,
so,
he is.
Legit, he's 5'5".
Yeah.
If you think that going Billy B.A. to Ian Rappaport makes you a big dog, bro, there are some of us in media that, I mean, you want to swing your weight around? There's a big mulleted Luke Combs looking dude. This guy right here. Mm-hmm. That's when I'll respect you. You go after Ian Rappaport and we're all just going, You have something in common with a tool. I screwed the joke up. You have something in common with a screwdriver and a hammer and a wrench and a socket because you are one of the same thing that those are.
Yep.
But no, we have not. I don't like Starbucks. And now that...
now we don't support Starbucks anymore. We're Team Rap Sheet.
Oh, for sure. Rap Sheet went on Pat McAfee yesterday and said, there are a lot of good coffee brands, and I feel like I could support those. Dunkin's great.
Yeah.
I laughed until I honestly thought I was going to defecate on myself.
Yeah.
Good for Rap Sheet. Of course, Dave trying to air traffic control me. I blew through the break. So we got to do that before the commercials cut me off, whether I like it or not. I'm Jeremy Green. He's David Smith. Well, this is the Sportsocracy, ESPN Radio, Asheville 92.9, 880 and 1400 live from the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. Ingles Living the Dream Tour. We are living the dream. Hour 2 up next. Losers. Who are the tremendous losers? We'll tell you after this on the Sportsocracy ESPN Radio Asheville.
Had to get it in.
Yeah, my bad.
Guys,
You tried telling me.
I did. That rap sheet story is phenomenal.
It's the fun. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. I would have given $500 to have been in that coffee house when that happened. All right, I got to explain something that I can't explain on the radio.
Yeah.
He has seen it firsthand, not as much because we haven't been around rap as much. Adam Schefter, you will virtually never see here.
No, he's a ghost.
Because he's doing ESPN stuff, he's behind closed doors, he's talking to sources.
He's at
They've got
studios
so many things.
Yeah.
Ian Rappaport, you will see 10 times a day.
He's on the floor. He's walking around. He's
a man of the people. He's holding court, and everybody wants to talk to him. Everybody loves him. Mm-hmm. He is. I'm a low level nobody, and I wound up. We'll say we had a beverage or two one night, and I think the world of Ian. Had I seen that, Jeremy's name would have wound up in that story of Jordan Schultz accosted Ian Rappaport, and then Luke Combs' illegitimate brother slapped the shit out of Jordan Schultz. Yeah. Which, for my career, would have been awesome.
I couldn't believe it. We saw the story come through, and that was the second time that
I thought it was fake.
The first time this is the second time that Rap Sheet has shut someone down. The first was the Rob Gronkowski coming out of retirement to potentially join the Denver Broncos. And Rap Sheet just quote tweeted it and said, "Nope, not true."
That end of tweet.
Mic drop, walked away, and it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal.
But where I was headed with that is the next time I see Ian Rappaport, I'm going to walk up to him and go, "Big dog.
Big dog.
You need somebody to handle that smoke. I got you, bro.
We got this.
I got you, bruh."
We handle it.
I will say, have you noticed that in terms of the media pool, how many guys that you see on television that are way shorter than you think they are?
Every one of them.
That was one of the harshest realizations when I came here last year was I saw a picture from Matthew Berry of one of the press pools.
Yeah.
I'm in the back because I stand in the back. I don't care. I'm not recording audio and things like that. I'm taking what you said and making content.
Yep.
So I don't want to get in the way of there are a ton of very nice girls that are they're very thin and they're not as dogmatic as some of these guys. So if I see a female reporter, I will just kind of swing in door and go ahead. You can stand in front of me. I don't care. I'm not here to record this. You are. I saw a picture of me, and I swear to God, I looked like King Tut presiding over my midgy empire. And I went, holy shit, I look like John Fetterman behind the rest of Congress.
We also are able to do this one on a regular, like, you can't see my hair. We hold it up, and then I'm over everyone by a mile.
Yeah.
We're pretty well the same height.
Yeah.
We're pretty close to the same height. So when we stand there and I go, "Man, I'm recording and you can't see it."
Well, and there is one, Sam.
Yes.
Have you met Sam yet?
Yeah.
So Sam from PFF is...
He's tall.
7 feet tall?
Yeah, real tall.
If he's not 7 feet, he's every bit of 6'10".
Yeah.
I put it this way. I'm right at 6'5". I have to crane my neck to talk to him. Because he's that large. And all of the other PFF guys are 5'10" at best.
We had two of the Locked On guys, you and myself, all standing around. And I was the shortest guy in the group.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and
God. I love the Locked On guys.
And that's funny.
I do. I love the Locked On guys.
Yeah.
I've met... It seems like... So, one of them is a very close friend of mine. Locked On Bears, Lauren. He is as good a dude as there is in this business. He introduces me to at least 5 Locked On guys at every event that we do. I have yet to meet one that is not just cool as hell to hang out with. We met the Packers guy. I would totally shout out his name, but I don't remember it. Yeah. Could not have been nicer. Inviting me to some golf tournament to play at the draft. Locked On is, if you worry about who the people are that you're supporting, Locked On, they're all solid as hell.
Yeah.
He can attest. I hang out with the
absolutely.
Locked On guys at every event we do.
Poor Oder says he's going to be going to look like a chimp amongst the gorillas tomorrow.
It's all
And-
right.
and
Dude,
no.
we ain't been out the house, so he asked about walkable bars.
No.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I did see, I believe it was Notorious B.I.G. asked me in the comments if I saw his comment. I did not. I am not looking directly at the chat. If it looks like it's a question, I'm avoiding it because he's feeding those to me at the end of every hour. So if you have a comment that
I
you
got it.
Okay, all right, what is it?
Ty Robinson is going to catfish a team. Ran super fast
sure.
for this class. When he looks nothing like that on film.
So Lauren Cox, I'm glad you said that because I couldn't remember his last name because
Yeah.
I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
He is as cool a dude as there is in media. And I think cousin Colin Green knows every person on earth.
Yes. Yeah.
Lauren lives on the other side of the country, and he knows him too. Colin, you, my friend, are an interesting fella, and
Connected.
One day, I want to add more chairs and have not cousin Colin Green sitting right here because I think that would be a real chef's kiss moment.
Yeah.
Now, as for Ty Robinson, all right, put a pin in that. We're gonna talk about losers coming up next. Ty Robinson is very obviously not a loser. However, I do want to talk about something with Ty Robinson and a loser potentially. So let me start the recording on the second hour, and we'll get to Ty Robinson and catfishing. Bro, I'm gonna give you credit on that, but I'm totally stealing it because that is solid.
Where's our Google sheet?
Right there.
Thank you. I also can't make
If I had another mouse, I would give it to you. I, for some reason, only brought one because I'm an idiot. Where did my box go? There it is. There we go.
We appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight.
Sure.
We're doing this for our own, for our health.
If I don't
Sweet
get
berry wine.
if I don't get some sleep, I'm gonna die.
We are a bunch of silly gooses. I'll tell you that much because we are we're fully off the rails at all times. We wake up and it's content time, and we've been doing content for 3.5 days.
It's. I think it was Gomaha that said we were that we worked well off of each other. David and I have been friends for a long time. This is the first time we've ever been in the same room together.
Yeah, it's been seamless though.
It has. I told my wife this earlier. My wife called. She was talking to Dave like we're old friends because she knows Dave.
Yeah.
She doesn't know Dave, but she knows Dave.
Yeah.
And that is one of the beauties of podcasting and things like that is that you meet people that there is no other path you would have ever crossed paths with them.
No, we're also basically the same guy.
He is Canadian.
We had a long chat overnight after creating for the entire day, and we discovered we are incredibly alike. Gomaha wants to join cousin Colin Green. We'll just get everybody
Ian.
We'll do it in person at some point.
At most times, I am just slightly above broker than a headless hooker. So I will do anything I can, but the invites are always there.
Yeah.
Combine fishing. That's good. Mm-hmm. That's good. Notorious B.I.G. By the way, Lauren Cox just texted me and said they're at a bar and we should come hang out. And my response is going to be, the only problem is that you'd have to carry me still asleep back here.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to start the second hour here with losers.
Losers.
And we're getting a lot of Locked On fans, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
All right. Going to kick off hour 2 here. If you're just joining in, we are recording the ESPN Radio Asheville show for tomorrow. We're just doing it live with some little breaks in the middle. So if you post a comment, we don't acknowledge it. I promise you, once the recording for each segment is over, we will get to it. If we miss it, just chuck it back out there. We're kind of doing this on the fly to make sure that we get in bed last night I went to bed at, I think it was 3:45, and I watched an episode of Kitchen Nightmares because I'm a moron.
Yeah, we're not smart men. We don't claim to be smart men.
And then I woke up at 7:15 and like a child that got woke up from its nap.
But I was here. I
You
was
were.
out. I was out here.
You were out
I
here
was-
ready to go.
I was up at 6:30 talking to the homeland.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to start hour 2 right now. Oh, I should have done the Pat McAfee thing. Hour 2 of the program begins right now. Football! Sorry, I've always wanted to do that.
Sports.
What? All right. I have to touch on this because he's done this a bunch. So, I love Pat.
Yes.
I am very pro Pat McAfee. I'm a West Virginia feller. So is he. I love his show. I think his shtick is so damn funny because I know so many West Virginia guys. And that what shit that they do is so funny to me, and he hates it.
I hate it.
I think it is hilarious.
It's overdone. It's just funny.
Overdone? Possibly. But hilarious nonetheless.
Yeah.
Hour 2 of the program begins right now. Hour 2, ESPN Radio Asheville, the Sportsocracy, 92.9, 880, and 1400. I'm Jeremy Green at ESPN Draft Nerd, and I'm like a pig in poo because it's NFL Combine Weekend. We got Underwear Olympics. We got fellers in shorts running 40s, and I'm just loving every second of it. And with me, pinch hitting for the afflicted Tank Spencer, the Canadian David Smith. Dave, how you enjoying Combine Weekend?
It's been phenomenal so far. It is drinking through a fire hose. Of course, we wish a speedy recovery to Crash himself, Mr. Tank Spencer.
Oh, God. He just like, Tank, just buddy, wrap yourself in bubble wrap. Stop hurting yourself.
You can do better.
He has a new boo-boo. A new boo. It's a new boo. He's taken a much-needed 3-day weekend, so the inmates have been left to run the asylum from far, far away.
You guys are stuck with us, unfortunately, or fortunately.
Hey, sometimes you just got to have some fun. You got to enjoy life. You got to live a little, and that's what we're doing.
You know who wasn't living a little today? Talking about losers.
Losers!
So yesterday at the workouts, we had a couple of guys who just did not perform, and I'm going to have to start calling them no, but it's Yeah Black.
Oh.
No Black.
Okay, all right, so I'm
yikes.
All right, I have defended Yaya Black because I thought he was an NFL rotational piece.
Yeah.
I have been doing this for a long time with the Combine. I have never seen a player before. You know how you'll see those memes on Facebook of, I offer you $100,000 to walk away.
Yeah.
Or I'll give you $1 million for every fastball you hit.
Yes.
Okay, as a man who has had a couple members in my family play in professional baseball, the answer for all of you is 0. That's how many fastballs you can hit. Not one. Now, he might, because he was a really good baseball player. Me, no shot. Because I'm trying to put one over the fence in the hopes that you'll give me $2 million, and I'm going to woof on air aggressively. That little shtick is what I saw from Yaya Black yesterday. It looked like me just going, they gave me a shirt with a number, and it says D-line, and I'm big, and I'm going to run out here and go, hey, y'all, look at me. I can play football. Oh, wait. Oh, bother. That might be the worst workout I've ever seen.
He was all over the place. He couldn't get anything, nothing was going well for him. The 40 was not, it was the worst 40 time of the night.
It was the worst 40 time across all positions.
Not just, when I say the worst 40 time of the night, I mean of every single person that ran.
And now, look, the defensive tackles are obviously going to be slower than the edge guys. He ran a 5.39.
Yes.
Now, that wouldn't be terrible. We have guys like that every single year. Yaya's 6'6", 330, and he looks every ounce of it. There was only one close to him, and I'm not going to lie, I forgot he was coming. I saw Elijah Simmons, and I went, you're here, but Willie Lampkin's not here.
Yep.
Hashtag Team Willie. We got you, Willie.
Yeah, we like Willie.
WL.
Elijah Simmons.
At the SC. Let's go.
Elijah Simmons was here and not fast.
Yeah, he just was what it was. It just was what it was. It wasn't great. But yeah, Yaya Black. Whoa, boy. Detroit fan man said he didn't have to run, did he? No, nobody has to run. And I'm not going to lie, whoever told Yaya to run, you did it wrong. Because he ran a 5.4 the second time. I want to say his first time was like a 5.5 something, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And he looks so big and lumbering and just unathletic. It was not a good workout for Yaya Black. But he wasn't the only loser for me.
No. We had a couple of others. For me, I also had Joshua Farmer.
I would be remiss if I didn't point this out.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to tell you.
Yes,
I tried to tell all of you this.
Yes, you did.
I saw Joshua Farmer's name pop up at 41 on, I guess it was Daniel Jeremiah's big board.
I think it was, I think that's where
it was somebody's big board. And I went, why? What exactly is it about him? Okay, he's got long arms and he's got some physical intangibles. He didn't do anything. He played for my team. I was pretty versed on Joshua Farmer. I at no point ever looked at Joshua Farmer and went, that's going to be a day 2 pick in the NFL draft one day.
He was, his entire body was out of control. And I don't mean that like in a positive, like, he was out of control. He's on fire. No, he was literally arms and legs in different directions while he was doing every one of the drills. While he was running, it did not look comfortable, and it wasn't fast. It was not a good showing for him at all.
No, I don't think Joshua Farmer's that guy. I feel like we're running projection with him. I had him in my top 10, but I had him at what, 8?
Yes.
8 sounds right. In terms of, and I break defensive tackles down.
Yes.
I saw him at 41 overall, and I kind of chuckled and went, that's not going to look so good in about 2 hours. And, well, I'll be dadgummit. He didn't.
No, not even a little bit. There was one other significant player that I think we need to talk about.
Well, who are you talking about?
Princely himself.
Oh, Princely Moon My Land? Oh, boy. All right, put a pin in Princely. I'm going to go down the defensive tackles.
You want to talk about the Ty Robinson?
And so we'll go each position.
Yep.
In this hour. Ty Robinson was a great winner, but he's going to lead to a loser. And it's whoever, as Notorious B.I.G. in our YouTube comments said, gets catfished by Ty Robinson.
Yes.
I think he's a fine player. Here's what I'm afraid of. And if I live to be 2,000 years old, I will never understand why this happened. A defensive tackle runs fast.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, we completely overhaul what we think about Ty Robinson. Why? How often do you see a defensive tackle get up to top speed in a straight line?
When they're chasing a pick six.
Yeah.
When they're running behind.
When they're chasing behind a guy that
To
picked off a
celebrate.
pass
Yeah.
to try to block the quarterback.
Yeah, they want to celebrate.
That's about it. None of the rest of that really matters.
I'll be honest with you. The 40 was impressive. He was the best looking out of that group.
The 3-cone was impressive to me.
The 3-cone was impressive, but the rest of it wasn't ideal.
He's an athletic guy.
He's a guy.
Here would be my question with Ty Robinson. Where's he going? I had him in the 4th round coming into this week. If he goes in the 4th round, I have no problem.
What if he goes in the end of the 3rd?
No problem. He takes Joshua Farmer's spot.
Where's his ceiling? Middle third?
If he goes in the top 75, I think you did it wrong.
Yeah.
Because he's not a top 75 player.
And I agree with
He
that.
might be a top 75 athlete. He's not a top 75 player.
I'll say this. This is the same thing that I say about fantasy football is different from real football. Athleticism is different than being a football player. You can be a phenomenal athlete and not necessarily be a phenomenal football player. They are not mutually exclusive.
Yes.
You can,
There are unathletic guys. Right now, Travis Kelce is not an athletic guy.
No.
He's still a really good football player.
Great football player.
Rob Gronkowski at the end was not a very athletic guy. He was really big and he was really strong.
Yes. There's guys that are athletes that aren't necessarily going to, it's not going to translate the way that you want it to the NFL level.
I don't boost guys up because they're athletic. I'm not shocked that Ty Robinson was athletic. That didn't surprise me.
No.
You watch the tape, and he was a little undersized. I don't really know what position he plays. I think it's probably 3-4 D end. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of confirmation bias. I think he is roughly the 10th to 12th best defensive tackle in this class. Where people make boo-boos is they see guys are super athletic. Oh, by the way, I would be remiss if I didn't point out he still has short arms.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
he
Ty
does.
Robinson still has short arms and he's still undersized.
Yeah.
None of those things changed.
No.
That was one of my big reservations about him coming into this. The combine is one of those things that if you ask yourself one very simple question every time a guy works out, you'd be shocked how very rarely you get snowed by the combine. Am I surprised he just did that?
No.
No.
He did almost everything. He came in with the goal of improve my draft stock.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you should do.
And
especially if you're super athletic, which he is.
he did, yeah, and he did that job. He did that job.
I think we didn't talk about this guy in the first hour, but since we're talking about defensive tackles, I feel like we need to now. Aeneas Peebles did himself a lot of favors. I kept looking at Dave. I had become like annoying guy at a bar going, "Hey, buddy, will you hand me the peanuts? Hey, buddy, you hand me a napkin? Hey, buddy, you hand me a straw?" Because I just kept elbowing him going, "Hey, Aeneas Peebles is doing that thing again where he looks really good, and it makes me super happy."
Every time he did a drill, I would kind of look at you and go, "That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good."
CJ West from Indiana, another one that I kept watching. So, all right, that's where I'll go with Ty Robinson.
Yeah.
If you take him over Aeneas Peebles, I think you did it wrong.
Yeah.
Because Aeneas Peebles was athletic enough and has the tape that backs up he's a really good football player.
Yeah.
CJ West has the tape that backs up he's a really good football player, and he had a workout where he was athletic enough.
Yeah.
Ty Robinson has years of tape that shows me he's an undersized D tackle. He confirmed that being 20 pounds lighter than a lot of the guys that worked out at the same position, he is faster than them. Hey, that shouldn't surprise you that much. But he didn't have the tape to back it up. If you want to take a flyer on it, I have no problem. I have a problem taking a flyer on athletic guys solely because they're athletic over guys that are good football players.
Yeah, there were more winners than losers tonight, and
For sure.
During the workout, and I think that it was. I think you could see that there were the losers stood out though. They were like
The losers were painful to watch.
they were painful to watch.
But they always are. I felt like the losers at defensive tackle, Yaya Black, who we already mentioned, I did not love what I saw from Derek Harmon. I'm not going to say he was a loser. I'm just going to say I didn't love it because it confirmed a lot of what I thought, which is, yes, he has burst plays.
Yes.
He had 1 year,
Yep.
and then he came and worked out today, and you know what I kept seeing? Him in a Michigan State jersey. I saw an overweight guy that looked a little doughy. And this is for the biggest job interview of your life. And he did not look like he moved at the rate that everybody tells me he moves.
Tyleek was fantastic today.
Now Tyleek he's good at football. He did not run the 40. So I don't have a 40 time on him. But I did like the way he moved in the drills. I told you when we talked about him, when we were doing prospect rankings, I said Tyleek Williams. I thought he was going to do all the drills. There's a great chance that in one of those formal meetings that these guys have, a team went, "Don't run. We don't want you to because we know the same thing that fat mulleted dude knows. You're going to run faster than people think.
Yeah.
And you saw how fleet of foot he was. Just imagine what he would have done in a straight line 40.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. He was fun to watch side to side. You mentioned CJ West. Eric Gregory had a pretty good workout day, I think.
He was borderline draftable to me. I will have him in right on the backside of my 250 if he's there. If not, he'll be close.
Nazir Stackhouse is another one that we were kind of looking at, and what do you do? Because sometimes he looked every bit of what you wanted to see, and other times he looked lost.
Nazir Stackhouse and I have something in common. We're both Jags. Just a guy. My middle initial is A. Jeremy A. Green. Jag. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
But I think he's a good guy. He's a guy I want to take in the 5th round because I think he has a super safe floor, and I know he's going to be on the roster. Is he ever going to turn into a star? No. Is he ever going to be an absolute albatross that I can't wait to get off my roster? Also no.
No.
And I start looking for those guys specifically in the 6th and 7th rounds.
Yes.
Because you start getting priority free agents in 6 and 7 that start calling saying, don't take my guy. My guy wants to pick his spot. That's where I would like to take Nazir Stackhouse, but I'm comfortable in the back end of 5-2.
Yeah, I don't think you'll hurt yourself there.
Mainly because about every third player, I kept going, what exactly is it about you that makes you an NFL player? Because I'm watching you move, and you don't move particularly fluidly. Your tape wasn't good, which is why I haven't talked about you at all over the course of this process. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of confirmation for me from the defensive tackles. Is there anybody else you think we need to talk about? Because I've got one.
No, I think I've covered like CJ West. You mentioned Ty Robinson. We mentioned, and I think that's probably the 2 other guys that I would say they showed out.
Darius Alexander would be the one that I would like to at least mention.
Yeah.
Athletically, I thought he was fine, just not special.
Yeah.
I wanted him to be special. So for me, Darius Alexander is going to live about that 75 range because of the age, the level of competition. I don't see a way now. He didn't do the high side of what we thought he could.
No.
And that takes him out of that first round discussion. Now I'm looking at him more 50 to the end of the second round is where he actually falls. Mm-hmm. My placement on him is probably going to be closer to 75. I love some of the things I see. I just don't think he's a special athlete.
Yeah.
And for a body that Darius Alexander is 24 years old. He'll be 25 in year 1.
Yeah.
That should be grown man body. And that's not what I saw. What I saw was I'm okay with that out of a 21-year-old because I'm going to get him in a high-level strength and weight and conditioning program, and I'm going to lean all that out.
Yeah.
You've had 6 years to do that.
Yeah,
and you haven't done it. So that's – I'm not pushing him down. I don't think he was a loser. I just don't think he was a winner to the level of what I would have wanted him to be.
No, I totally agree with that.
Does that cover everything with defensive tackles?
That covers everything with defensive tackles.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick commercial break here. 92.9, 880, and 1400 ESPN Radio Asheville. We are the Sportsocracy, and we are live in Indianapolis, Indiana, the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine with our friends at Ingles Markets, bringing you the Ingles Living the Dream Tour. We roll on in the Parks Ford Mobile Studio here in Indianapolis. And after this break, we'll talk about linebackers. I didn't have a lot that I felt like hurt themselves, but there were a couple, I'll say, head-scratching things, including Chris Paul and his T-Rex arms. We'll be right back here on ESPN Radio Asheville in the Sportsocracy. I thought that was thunder. That was a car that started outside.
It's a car. Eat and Sleep thinks Princely's a good player.
I think Princely's a good player. I think Princely didn't run. We're going to talk about him in a few minutes.
Yeah.
I still think he's a good player. You will never hear me change my opinion on a guy and his ability to play.
No.
Now, you might hear me change my opinion on his ability to play in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Because if you won by being more athletic or being stronger, and then you come here and you're 20th at your position, okay, that's going to be a problem. Because, hey, we've done this every year for the last 40 years, And all those guys would have been stronger and faster than you too. So that's about the only time that'll happen. Yaya Black, I don't have a draftable grade on him now.
No.
All right, we're going to go linebackers next.
What's our time?
That went 17 and a half.
Okay.
So here we need to go 12.
12. Yep.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the 12, 13.
You want to recap what we're talking about with time, just in case we have new people?
Yeah, we are recording this for the ESPN radio show tomorrow. Obviously, Tank is still recovering back home, and we are running on not enough sleep.
On empty.
So we have a very long day tomorrow. We are basically at the convention center and then into the stadium without downtime in between. Certainly not enough time to come and do a live. So we are doing the radio show now. So you'll see us occasionally stop the recording and kind of just engage in chat, talk with you guys. We appreciate everybody hanging out. But we are doing kind of the live record. This will air on radio in some form or fashion, chopped up tomorrow on terrestrial radio. The video is obviously going to be in the live, so if you want to rewatch, it's going to be, we're in hour 2, so
Yeah,
you got time.
Hey, if you want to know what the radio show is going to sound like, it'll be the times when I don't say boobs and balls and wieners and stuff. That will not be on the radio. When I go into full radio voice, but that will be.
Yes.
Are you accumulating questions for?
Yeah, I'm looking at them.
Okay. This would be a good time to say if you have questions, we're going to do another Mullets mailbag at the end of this hour. So if you want to talk about losers specifically, this would be the time to do that. Chuck those questions in the chat. We'll hit those not in the upcoming segment, but in the one right after. We'll go 12 to 15 minutes on draft questions.
Deion Walker looked like a Waffle House pancake trying to escape the kitchen.
I didn't see a super negative out of Deion Walker.
He was fine. Bill, what did I say? What can I not say again? Bill said, Armchair, don't say that again.
You know what I'm going to say again? I'm going to drink a Monster. I'm going to drink a Monster.
I thought that's what you were going to say again.
What? Oh.
Get the questions in. I don't think we have many at all right now. We got pretty caught up, I think. Tanker is healing. Mr. Crash. Lots of Locked On fans. We'll let the fellas know.
I have to answer 2 text messages, so if you can.
Yeah, we're just hanging out. I am looking for questions. Get them into the chat. A 10 p.m. monster. Chris, Oder, you know better.
Hashtag built different, bro. Hashtag built different. Let's go. With my little tiny ass arms for a guy my size. Skip to arm day. Hashtag double leg day. I know my own deficiencies. Yeah. You jackals don't have to tell me shit. I know I'm fat, and I know I have little arms. You know what else I have? A smoking hot wife, and I get to talk about sports for a living. So, it's like water off a duck's back. It just beads up and bounces off.
Bill, I didn't do a racist. It wasn't a racist. I said no, black. Not like that.
Oh.
Not like that. We're just talking about this. God dang it. Dana, I like that question. I'll get that one in there. And we will talk about that Bangus. I say it again. I do what I want, Bill. You're not my dad.
Chris Oder asked if he needs to bring us Adderall tomorrow. Dude, if you bring me an Adderall, I swear to God, You want me to tell you how that go? Let me give you I'm gonna give you a what's the word I'm looking for? Reenactment. It's not a reenactment because it didn't happen. A pre-enactment.
A pre-enactment.
Yeah, a pre-enactment. You give me an Adderall, and I'm gonna be sitting here on a live stream just going. Yahya Black's foot gait is really bothersome. And the fact that his toes don't ever touch the ground just really pisses me off. And the more times that he touched his forehead when he was running, it tells me that he was uncomfortable. And I would do that for 3 hours.
Yes.
Adderall is one of those things that has different effects on different people. And the effect on me is not awesome. Some people get hyper motivated and like clean their house.
Yeah.
I start narrowing in on like there's one floorboard that's slightly askew from the rest of the floorboards. And then by the end of it I've turned full Jesse Ventura. Like I spent all my year down in the Baja and now I don't know that I can hold my breath underwater for 11 minutes.
Yeah. So that's a no. No, don't do that.
Or I'd start doing what I did earlier to him, and I'd impersonate Scott Hall for 27 straight minutes.
Did that happen at 9 o'clock?
Sure did.
Yeah, it did happen.
Sure did.
Did that happen at 1 a.m. yesterday? Absolutely it did.
Hey, yo. We were talking earlier in the back about what you should do with your life, and you should just stop.
This is the best live we've ever had for the Sportsocracy when Tank has not been around, period.
Hey, yo.
Listen, I appreciate all the fashion. The Lucas Oil is cold. It's chilly.
It's cold as shit outside.
And this sweater, so two things. One, armchair dress like this so that people that don't know who I am look and go, who's that guy? Is he maybe an agent? Should I talk to him?
Is this a good time to tell you that I've been telling people you're my accountant?
Yeah. That's a great time. Jeremy's walking around with his Jets apparel on, and they're like, "Does he work with that? Does he work for you guys?" Yeah, I do taxes.
I didn't. I tell people that's a dude that I know that is really, really good at this, and I want to find a way for him to do it full time. I am just what is referred to as poor as shit.
The beard is exactly where it needs to be. I can't help it. I got the look. I got red pants and a blazer that's going to come out on Saturday. So,
you're going, dude. I'm wearing track pants right now.
No, I know you are.
I went full. I am one step away from wearing gray sweatpants to the combine.
Bradley says I need a quarter zip. You think I don't have a? You don't think I rock with a quarter zip? I'm corporate Dave.
I had a
day job.
I had a weird moment in the stadium tonight. There were like 4 girls that worked for somebody, I don't know who it was, that kept staring at me, and I realized that the reason they were staring at me was because I'm wearing track pants, and they were going, and I had to look at them and go, no.
There's another reason people are staring at you.
Well, because I look like Luke Combs' stupid brother.
And what happened last year?
Oh yeah, I did trend on the Visit Indy social media. I stopped to get a vape earlier. The guys at the vape store remembered me from inhaling St. Elmo's cocktail sauce. Apparently, I have a face that's really easy to remember.
Go figure.
Go shut the fuck up.
All right, let's get back.
You mean that guy that looks like Cletus the Slackjawed Yokel? Yeah. If he was 8 feet tall, people remember that? Bullshit.
I think that this is easily the best live we've ever done. Period.
Oh, I mean, I'm firmly of the belief we should start recording the show this way.
This is
we just do the show at night now, and we pre-record it.
It's a vamp,
and we have it's different people. We have Dave sometimes, we have Tank sometimes, and that's the show.
Yeah.
We just record. It takes us 5 hours to record it as opposed to doing it 3 hours live.
Yeah, we just do it this way instead. It's more fun for everyone. Plus, we can say the birdie dirty word.
Do you recall when I said I have to answer 2 text messages?
Yeah, you didn't answer
somehow,
one of them, did you?
No, I answered one of them, but somehow that 2 turned into 5, and I don't know how that happened.
Dana's the only one that's actually given me real questions. Dana, I appreciate that because we need more questions.
For sure.
Because we got 13 on this one, and then I got another segment that we got to do.
I'm glad you're keeping up with time. If it wasn't for you, I swear to God, I would send Tank a 4-hour file tomorrow and just go, figure it out.
Figure it out.
Listen here, Wheelie Dan. Figure it the fuck out. You got all the time in the world because you're sitting at home with your knee up.
This is
because I'm a jackal like that.
What is this? My third radio show, and I've already got the time figured. I got the time figured out. I don't have it figured out. I know nothing. We're just all pumped up on no sleep and BK. We're just popped up on onion rings and chicken Sammys. We're ready to rock and roll.
Oh, hell yeah. My cholesterol right now looks like a zip code in a state that signed the Constitution.
The problem is...
I mean, it's not like a 976 over an 81 or anything like that, but a 288 over a 60, very possible.
We started the armchair having the Great American Fast Food Tour, and it's been an adventure. It's been an adventure. Thank you, Pennywise. That'll get on there. We'll get that question in. Jeremy's just got to answer another text message.
So apparently, a lot of people that enjoy me joining on their shows did not know I was at the Combine until I shared a picture on my social media of being at the Combine. Any of you that possibly listen to this, I will be at the Combine every year until they put me in an urn, and I hope they spread me at the 50-yard line of Lucas Oil Field. Do with that information what you will.
They need to put you in football in a stick.
Oh, shut the fuck up. That's going in my will. I want to be in the football on a stick. That is where my ashes go. You shut your whore mouth. That is so good. Oh, I would have never thought of that either. You have to put me in a little capsule and put me in the football on a stick.
Football in a stick.
Holy shit. You talk about me living my best life. I sit in a closet 361 days out of the year. And for 4 days, I am on display, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
All right, we got a lot of questions coming in, so we got to move.
Yeah, let's get rolling.
Yep, we'll go live. So right here, we're going to go pre-recording for a pre-recording of losers from linebacker and edge.
Yes.
I only have one edge loser, so we'll go about 10 minutes here, and then we'll do mullet mailbag, and we'll just go right into it.
Yep.
Got to take a deep breath. Or people will say, yeah, you fat bastard. Every time you open a segment, you sound like you're out of breath because you had to say 20 words. Because people on the internet are awful.
Yes, they are.
And I sit back and laugh at your comments and go, enjoy Home Depot, dickhead. Mm-hmm. That's what I do. All right. I do enjoy being able to be myself on the lives.
Yes.
Back in the Sportsocracy, 92.9, 880, 1400 here in the Asheville, North Carolina area. We're live in far away from North Carolina.
We're in Indianapolis.
We're Hoosiers. Hoosiers. Hoosier daddy. No, sorry. We're at the Combine, 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. David Smith of Armchair Commentary, our resident Tank fill-in for the week. And we appreciate you. I've not said that enough. This has been a ton of fun with you. You have put up with all of my, we'll say, idiosyncrasies. And the fact that I work until 4 o'clock in the morning and it's hard to sleep and all of those things.
We've been having a good time.
It's been a blast. Day one of the workouts yesterday, we're talking losers. We've already done defensive tackles because I had a lot more of those. Now we're going to talk edge and linebacker. My first, I'm not going to call him a loser because I'm not surprised by it. Is Chris Paul.
It just did not go great.
God, the measurables on him
Chris Paul
are they're almost beyond belief.
Those are maybe some of the. We were looking at measure because we didn't get to see the measurements obviously as they happen. Once they get released, you're kind of scrolling through and you go, oh my gosh.
So Chris Paul has 9 3/8 inch hands.
Yes.
That's not that bad.
Nope.
6'1", 222.
Not bad.
Okay, he's
Sure.
and he was a fraction under 6'1". They round on the NFL website, and I don't have the official rank in front of me. His arm length was 29 7/8 inches.
That would be considered short, Bob.
Come again? Your arms are how long? And then he was the 4th slowest linebacker in the 40.
Yeah.
Only had a 36-inch vert, and his broad jump was 9.9.
Yeah.
Now, here's why I'm not saying he's a loser. Because do you know what that means?
Means he's exactly where you thought he was.
Nope. No, I didn't see any of that coming. I saw his measurables come in, and I went, well, that's unfortunate at best.
Yeah.
No, here's what it means. He's going to fall to about pick 160, and a smart team like Kansas City or Philadelphia or insert good team that makes the playoffs every year here is going to draft him, and 3 years from now we're going to go, hey, you remember when we were worried about how long his arms were?
Yeah.
Because he's just like a really good football player. I don't understand why he goes by Pooh. I've yet to find out.
Yeah, we don't know.
Like, he's in the media guide here as Pooh Paul.
He sure is.
Which, that caught me off guard. When his media availability came up, I went, who in the hell is Pooh Paul? Oh, I know. I know who that is.
Maybe it's after like Winnie the Pooh.
I don't know what it is.
Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear.
Maybe.
Pooh Bear Paul.
These
are complete guesses. I have no idea.
He did not have a good day, but I think it's going to hemorrhage his draft stock.
Yeah.
I will not be moving him. I despise this linebacker class.
It's not a good linebacker class. It's not a good free agent class, and it's getting worse by the day.
Jeffrey Bossa did not run as fast as I thought he would. I'm not going to say loser, but he did not run as fast as I thought he would. Jay Higgins was way slower than I thought he would be.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I kind of look at as a winner
Yep.
was Carson Schwessinger.
Yeah.
I thought he looked really fluid. I'm going to have to go back and watch the tape on him because now I'm officially getting to the point of like smart people are telling me I'm too low on him. And then I see how fluid he was in the workouts and okay, that's answering a question about him that I did have.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to reserve giving an opinion on Schwessinger until next week when I really deep dive because I did not have him in my top 100 initially.
Yeah.
And I feel pretty confident he's going to be in it moving forward.
Yeah, I would say so.
When you play a position that's just awful,
Mm-hmm.
and look, linebacker is terrible in this class. You just lost one in Chris Paul Jr. that now I can't take him in the top 100.
No, you can't.
He's going to fall, as I said. Danny Stutzman, I liked a lot of what he did. I liked him coming in. Nick Martin, I liked him coming in. Demetrius Knight left me wanting a little more.
Yes.
But I don't think he hurt his stock.
No.
Because if you were bothered by the athletics on him, then you're going to go back and watch the tape and you're going to fall in love again.
I'd agree with that. He was fine. I mean, there were a lot of guys that there were a lot of players that did not hurt themselves, but they certainly didn't help themselves.
Power Eccles is not one of those.
Power Eccles had a real, no good, very bad day.
Slow and small. That's a really bad recipe in the NFL.
It did not work out in his favor at all.
Then we get into the edge class.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't feel like there were a ton of guys that really hurt themselves, but there was one. Princely Amun Malayan hurt himself a lot.
Yes, he did.
You can't be that slow. I mean, he ran a 4.72.
Yeah.
As a finesse pass rusher, which is what he is.
Yep. It just didn't look good.
He did not look good.
He looked every bit as slow as he ran.
He did. He ran he was very upright.
Super upright.
And then he didn't look fluid running the drills.
No. You looked at me when he was running his first 40, and you looked over and you went upright. And he was stiff as a board, right upright, and it wasn't ideal at all. And you could tell he wasn't happy with it. But I don't know if there was anything that he could have done to fix it tonight.
At one point I think it was after he ran the 40.
Yeah.
There are only about, I'll say maybe 1,000 people in Lucas Oil. for this.
I think that's fair.
It might be a little more than that, but it's not much.
Yeah.
So when you very loudly scream an obscenity after you run, we all hear it.
Sure do.
It's almost bizarre how easy it is to hear things in there because it's so quiet. And when they do the breakdown, and you see the coaches, because they have positional coaches that run this.
Yeah.
So every group has an NFL legend,
Yeah.
and then every group has an NFL coach that coaches them through the workouts.
Yeah.
You can hear the breakdown perfectly.
Yeah.
Not like you're in it, but very much like you're on the sideline.
It's clear. It's clear enough. The Edge was interesting overall, and there were a lot of guys that kind of fell into that area. We're going to get some more mailbag questions coming in. Is there any more definitive player that you wanted to touch on? Is there someone that you thought there's something about this that you saw yesterday, but they didn't quite do themselves that full favor?
I feel like Elijah Roberts was not done any favors having to run with the edge guys. So you see him you see him down at the bottom. Sean Martin was a shockingly slow from West Virginia, but Elijah Roberts is basically a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And he had to run with the edge guys. I don't think that did him any favors, but I thought he still looked fluid.
Mm-hmm.
I will not punish him for that workout, anything like that. I don't think there was any player that worked out that I was more adamantly rooting for
Yeah.
than David Walker.
I wanted Walker to do well.
I was rooting for Walker to be better than he was.
Yeah.
He didn't run as fast as I thought he would.
No, he didn't. There were a bunch of guys like that, though. It did feel a little slow.
Antoine
overall.
Powell Ryland, Baron Sorrell was not as fast as I thought he would be. Jaw Joyner was not as straight. I thought Jaw Joyner would be the fastest edge in the class.
Yeah.
But then you go to the other side, Fadil Diggs, who I was pretty high on, kid out of Syracuse.
Yeah.
I thought he looked like an absolute freak of nature.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
He was super fast, and then you got into the agility drills, and he looked sudden too.
Yeah.
Because and I can't remember what did he measure in at? He was tall, I know that much. He's 6'4".
Yeah.
257 pounds, and he still looked agile.
Long strides.
Yes,
Very long strides.
for sure. So I thought he had a good day. Other than that, not a lot really changed for me with the edge guys.
No.
I think that really put Princely under a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
He was so slow and so immobile at times that it makes you ask a lot. Now, I still think in a four-man front, I still like Princely and Moon Malayan.
Yeah.
I am now really second-guessing hey, he can stand up in a 3-4.
Yeah.
I will probably convert him to a 4-3 in my final rankings.
Great news. I found some more questions for Jeremy's mailbag, but I believe we need to pay some bills.
I thought you were about to say you believe in Joe Hendry, and I was
I
going to
do
clap.
believe in
I don't
Joe
know how
Hendry.
Mike would respond to that.
Yeah.
This is ESPN Radio Asheville, 92.9, 880, and 1400. I'm Jeremy Green, at ESPN Draft Nerds, where you can find me on Twitter, and you can find all of our draft stuff. Whew, you talk about a lot of information dump coming to NFLDraft.net after the Combine. He is armchair commentary David Smith of Great North Sports, and we're live. 2025 NFL Scouting Combine, Ingles Living the Dream Tour, and we are living the dream. This is living the dream at its finest.
Living the dream.
More workouts today. We're going to get into that after the mailbag, but coming up next, Mullet's Mailbag, answering your questions from the NFL Draft.
That should be right on.
12 minutes. You kept pointing. I was like, we're only at 10.
No, I know. We started after.
What do you mean? It was supposed to go 12. You started pointing at 8. I was like,
No,
too
I was
early.
giving. Yeah.
Oh, no, I can see it now.
Okay.
I don't know why I can see it now, but
Oder, you were asking if Yaya Black's time was slower than Eisen's. It was not.
no, but damn, it was close.
It was a lot closer than you'd want it to be.
Damn, it was close. To be honest with you, Yaya Black against me in a 40, I'm not sure I wouldn't win.
You give me you let me put on my running shoes? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm not going to beat him in a pair of Hey Dudes.
I might beat him in my.
God, I would almost like to get on that field and run those drills with all these dudes falling down, and I got a pair of hay dudes that the sole is worn off of. Holy shit, I'd be flopping around like a seal stuck on the beach.
You'd tear your hammy in a minute.
For sure. I'd probably tear my hammy just running 40 yards.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to say the name on that. Let's see.
Just going through the questions. Get your questions in. We've got a mullet mailbag. On the next segment, if you are just joining, we are recording for the ESPN radio show tomorrow at noon. Just need to get this recorded. We need some rest. So
I need to sleep.
We are trying to get that done and be able to get in bed as Jeremy. Down's a monster. Built different.
Built different.
So we're working on it. We're trying to get this done. Get your questions in. If you see us stopping the chat and then kind of disappearing for a second here, or in and out, and just having these kind of chats, by all means, let us know. But that's what we're doing. That is what we're doing. So I've got a couple of questions that I want to get through. We should have you probably have a little extra time on this then.
Yeah, we have
18.
20, I think.
Okay.
LMNO 10:35 17:40. Oh, that's math. 20, yep, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Well, 18 and a half to 20.
Okay.
There is some play. We'll make sure we give all the love to Ingles Supermarkets and Parks, Florida, Hendersonville, and Clarissa Sells WNC. And if we have to move, somebody that's not paying us directly, then so be it.
Yeah.
Because those pay to iHeart, and if we have to move those out, then
Yeah, we care about those three.
we have more too. Those are just the ones that paid for this.
We care about them for this.
They're the ones that go, hey, what do you need? And please get some sleep. And we let the guys from Parks Ford called me today, and
Yes.
I love those guys. If you live, even if you don't live in Asheville, if you live here in Indiana and you need to buy a car, you drive down to Asheville, you stay at my house and buy it from Parks Ford Hendersonville. Tell them I sent you. Love those guys. May have JW, their sales manager, filling in for Tank one day next week.
That'll be a good time.
You think this is fun? JW, to my knowledge, has never been on radio before, and we do a lot of this same thing. He will be on radio. Oh, boy.
That's a good time.
With me running buttons. Holy.
Chiefs Nation UK said he tried to run a 40 at Charlie horse and leg for several calendar days.
You know what we need to do? I just thought of this. We need to set up a video for the socials saying Jeremy's going to run a 40 and stop at that gas station right there and get a big Miller High Life 40 and just see how fast I can. Holy shit, we need to do that. Can I drink a 40 faster than Yaya Black can run a 40? Let's go. Let's go.
The side by side you've all been waiting for.
Hell yes. That is the one.
That's the overlay you've all been waiting for.
Oh yeah. That's the remix that you didn't know you wanted.
I can't wait.
Oh, and I bet I can too. I'll bet I can too. Just close your eyes, open your throat, and think about something happy.
I'm officially at the point where I'm looking at that and going, can I run faster than Yaya Block?
I'll go ahead and tell you, I will not try that. Because that's how Jeremy ends up on a wheelie scooter like Tank, because he blowed his hamstring out of his backside.
They have the 40 at the fan zone, don't they?
Sadly enough, this is my second year here. I've never stepped foot in the fan zone.
We may need to take a look.
And they did. We will have to at some point because they moved all of the measurables into the fan zone.
Yeah, we want to do the measurables. I got to figure out if my hands are they're not, but
They were in the concourse last year. They're not this year.
we'll figure that out. And if there's a 40, I'll run it. Like a proper 40, I will absolutely run it.
Tim Raymond said, "Let's get Tank to run the 40." Right now, he'd have to do it with a knee.
He wouldn't
scooter.
make it. He wouldn't make it.
He'd have to do it with a wheelie scooter, and he would probably trip and knock out 8 of his teeth. He is on a
scooter would fall apart halfway through. Wheels would be coming off.
It's already happened once today. So
call him Tony Hawk.
Dana was talking about Steve Linton. I don't know that I don't know that I saw him run the hoop drill. Dana was asking about somebody that was really, really fast in the hoop drill because he had really long arms. I'm just looking through the... Oh, I'm looking... That's why I can't find it, because I'm looking at the 40s. That's on a different screen. I would have to go back and... You got to realize some of these, they go into commercial break and the big screen goes down, and so you could have 4 or 5 guys run, and I have no idea.
We have no idea. We can't hear anything in the stadium, so.
Oh, you can. You hear Reggie Wayne. One of the most cringy things I've ever seen. The in-stadium reporter looked at Reggie Wayne and went, "Hey, how did you enjoy working out at the combine?" And he went, "I didn't. I didn't because I didn't work out at the combine." I feel like you should have known that.
There was no background done at all. Hey, isn't this great for everyone that's competing here today? Yeah, it's wonderful. They're reading their script. What were some things that you really enjoyed about working out at the combine? Well, I did.
She asked about his family.
Yeah.
Like, did your family show up at the combine? And he said, no, and there was one simple reason, because I didn't do anything.
He worked out at his pro day 2 weeks later. And you could see...
That was one of those things that was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Like, just, you got to do gooder than that.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to record mullet mailbags, so we're going to answer your questions. Do you have those prepared?
Sorry, I did, and now I don't. Give me 2 seconds. I believe in Joe Hendry.
I'm so glad to have nicotine that has a flavor.
You feel good about that?
Dave got to see me turn into a different person.
What's up with Chris Paul's nickname? It's Pooh.
Boo. Good?
Sorry, everyone. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we're fine.
All right. And here we go. Back here in Indianapolis at the 2025 NFL Scouting Combines, the Sportsocracy on the Road, Ingles 2025 Living the Dream Tour. And we're at the NFL Scouting Combine. Day one of the workouts yesterday. We've gone through the winners. We've gone through the losers. And it's time to open it up again to the mullet mailbag out of the YouTube chat for all of the things that you want to know from the Combine. We go on the road, and we are here to serve you. David Smith of Armchair Commentary and Great North Sports. I'm Jeremy Green, and I'm the ESPN Draft Nerd. So, Dave, open up the old mailbag and fire away.
Is Jack Sawyer's footwork generally an issue, or were the missteps out of the norm? Haven't got to see the film.
I have heard a lot of people tell me they think Jack Sawyer's going to play stand-up 3-4, and I immediately go, it's almost like, okay, so Dave, I've never gotten to have this conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain phrases that people use in football that just immediately make me go, nope.
Yep.
We don't need to go any further down this rabbit hole. Is he going to make a touchdown? Nope. If you read the score and it's 14-34, nope. Don't have to go any further because it's just going to go whoosh. Anybody that was talking about Jack Sawyer, because if you watch the tape, no, it wasn't uncommon.
Yeah.
There were guys that had some missteps that I went, oh, he just missed it. He missed the step. It's fine. Jack Sawyer didn't surprise me. That's why I have him as a 4-3 hand down edge.
Yes.
Because I like him that way. That's where I think he can convert speed into power, convert power into speed. I don't like the idea of him standing up. He's not fluid enough.
There were a lot of guys that had some slips today. It was not.
The field was slick.
The field was slick on the workouts. We saw. I'll be curious to see what today brings versus last night's workouts.
Well, you got today. You're going to get to see guys go real fast because it's defensive backs and tight ends.
Yeah. I have Elijah Roberts moving into 3 tech based on film.
As do I.
But They had him working out at edge. Will he be a 5-tech? Arms were longer than I thought.
Elijah Roberts has length that I really like. The tape on him really lends itself to 3-tech. And I said that earlier that I really felt like it was kind of unfair that they put him with Group 2.
It wasn't great.
Because it's the way you look at things, because you see Elijah Roberts' name at the end of the edge guys.
Yeah.
And he is an edge, but he's not an edge. He's not going to play out on the end of the 4-3. He's too big for that. And so you see the speed and you go, well, he's not fast enough. And I hate that just from the optics, because you get fans that they're not draft nerds.
No.
And they don't really know who that guy is. And then they see him on the NFL.com website running behind all these guys that had bad days.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that, well, he's actually going to end up playing more defensive tackle than he does anything else.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a miss. We have those every year. They have some say in that.
Yeah.
And I think he believes he can be an end in a 4-3, and he cannot. Yeah. So I have him going to 3-tech too. I thought the workout was a net neutral. I like how fluid he is when he runs, and it was fine. But yes, I have him as a 3-tech too.
Jeremy, which safeties need to run the most? Do we have? Yeah. Which safeties do we need to run the most?
Safeties need to run the most. Malachi Starks.
Yes.
I loved Malachi Starks' response. I actually pulled this. So there was a story done on NFL Network. If I can find my mouse.
Yep.
It's coming eventually. There we go. When Malachi Starks did his media availability, somebody asked him about the Kyle Hamiltons, the Devin Weatherspoons, Andrew Phillips, guys like that.
Yep.
And Malachi Starks' response was, I think my biggest strength is being versatile, being able to move around, being able to line up inside, outside, in the box, being able to understand the defense and communicate. And he was very dogmatic of, I can play about 5 positions, and whoever gets me is getting a player that you can play everywhere. And I liked the way he said it, because it wasn't that it was combative. It was very confident, and you could tell that chip on your shoulder that guys talk about of, like Kyle Hamilton wears a number because that's how many guys went before him. Amon-Ra St. Brown has the list in his locker of all the guys that all the receivers that went in front of him. Malachi Starks is going to be the same way.
Yeah.
And when I watch the tape on him, I see a player that is good enough that I'm going to bypass him at my own risk. And I really like the response. But in terms of safeties that need to run, I think Malachi Starks needs to run.
Yeah.
Other guys off the top of my head that need to... There are guys that I want to run, not necessarily that need to.
Okay.
Because safety gets into a really big block of what type of safety are you looking for?
Yeah.
And so that's where that comes in.
Jeremy, why don't you like Jihad Campbell as an off-ball linebacker?
Because he's not good at it?
Bad in coverage or just bad in space in general?
Okay, so for me, with off-ball linebackers, I can deal with you being really good against the run. I can deal with you being really good in coverage, because I'm going to have a third linebacker that can cover for any deficiency. You just have to be elite at something. Jihad Campbell as an off-ball linebacker, he's not elite at anything.
Yeah.
He is an elite pass rusher from that position. He is very scheme versatile. He's very movable. He's a very malleable piece. He came in a little lighter than I expected him to.
Yeah.
But not to a point that it's bothering me.
Right.
He is a really good pass rusher. That's where this has always come down for me. I cannot name you more than maybe 3 linebackers in my life that played off ball the way that he does. And the best thing they did was rush the passer. And they became really big impact guys. I'm also, to me, off-ball linebacker is the running back of the defense.
Yeah.
You have to be so out of this world good for me to want to take an off-ball linebacker in the first round, and he's just not.
I totally agree with you.
I would rather take somebody like Demetrius Knight in the second round because I do think he is elite at things. I don't know that he will ever be a 3-down player. Jahad Campbell can probably be a 3-down player.
Yeah.
But then I get into this situation where I take a guy in the first round, and now I have to play him, and I'm stuck with him for 4 years, and he's a jack of all trades, master of none, and I wind up with the 40th best linebacker in the league, and I took him in the first round. I can't do anything with him. So it's not that I don't like him. I just don't like him as an off-ball.
Yeah.
In the first round.
Are you all in the camp that Jalen Walker is going to be an edge? This is also a Dave mailbag. Are we all in that?
If you plan on taking Jalen Walker, I will say in the top 25
Yep.
as an off-ball, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
If you think he can come in and play as a true edge, and I think he's a 3-4 edge, if you think he can do that and you think you can turn him into more than he was at Georgia, more power to you. I struggle to look at a coach like Kirby Smart and say that he wasn't coached well on the best defensive team in college football year over year over the last 5 years, and that he's going to go into the NFL and get better coaching and become a better player. Because the NFL is not as much about instruction. There is some instruction, don't get me wrong. It's more taking guys and what they do and putting and form filling them to a defense. One of the things that's the hardest for me to make people understand about draft boards, there are players that certain teams do not have on their draft board, not because there are character issues, not because not because they don't like the player. It's because they don't fit. I don't ever ever play.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons that I rail on teams that fire coaches every 3 years. Because you build a roster with all these guys that fit a specific scheme, and then you bring in a coach and tell them, hey, dum-dum, you figure it out. We still got 2 years left on this guy. He doesn't fit your scheme. We drafted him. You figure it out. And then you just spin in this great big cycle of doing this over and over and over again. And the reason I'm so sensitive to it is because the Jets do it every 3 years.
Yes.
Hey, we drafted all these guys that fit Robert Saleh. Cool. Do they fit Aaron Glenn? Nope. Awesome. Let DJ Reed walk out the door for nothing.
Jeremy, where do you have Jaden Blue ranked amongst running backs?
It's going to depend a lot on how he runs. I think he'll be if he's not the fastest running back here, he's going to be in the top 3. Jaden Blue could run a time sub 4.35, and he would. I think he can be a really good pass-catching back in the NFL. Do I think he's ever going to be a 3-down guy? No. But then again, in this draft, I think there's only 2 of those.
Yes.
There's 2 with a third that I think has a chance. I just haven't seen him. I haven't seen him do all of the things that I ask a running back to do, so I don't know that he can do it. I also don't know that he can't do it, and that's Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. But now, in terms of where do I have him, I believe I can tell you.
While you're looking that up, I'm just going to make this comment. Mel Kiper mocked James Pearce Jr. to Philly. LOL, nope.
Nope.
That is correct. James Pearce Jr. will not go there.
Jaden Blue is my running back 12th.
RB12. I see most of this linebacker class as in-the-box guys who has a chance to be a difference maker in coverage over the middle.
Of off-ball linebackers? Okay, I'm going to cop out on this answer because there's not a natural guy that plays off-ball linebacker now that I think can be that. However, if a team took Nick Emanwari with the intention of running him as a hybrid linebacker safety, I think he could be that guy. This is a horrific class, linebacker-wise, because there's so many guys that do the exact same thing. Who asked that question, just out of curiosity?
That was from Dana.
Okay, so Dana, what I look at with this linebacker class, they have a ton of guys that I think have athletic potential. And I'll give you an example. Eugene Asante.
Yes.
Eugene Asante has an athletic profile that's really solid. Unfortunately, when I watch the tape, he doesn't do anything all that well.
No.
So I'm projecting what he can do based on the athleticism and things like that. And I've fallen victim to this with Auburn guys before. So I'm trying not to helmet scout, but at the same time, there's not a lot of linebackers in this class that are really good in pass coverage. I do think that Nick Eamon-Worry he's too big to be a safety. He's actually built like a linebacker, and I kind of think that's where he fits in, as he's going to play kind of like we were talking about with Malachi Starks.
Yeah.
I can do everything. You're not going to consistently want to ask me to be over the top because guys like Tyreek Hill are going to annihilate me.
Yes.
Because I outweigh them by 60 pounds. And you're asking me, even with a 17-yard head start, to run with him. I'm just not going to do it because the second they make a movement, I can't shift that quick. Now, can he play back there? Absolutely. I think he's really good in coverage. Where I think his role comes in is kind of what Dana's talking about, as playing over the middle. I can play down in the box. I can play over the top. I can play out of the slot. I can rush the passer. I think if somebody really got a hold of him and tried to use him that way, I think he could be really dynamic that way.
Yep.
But in terms of just a linebacker that's what they do, I don't really have one. Chris Paul would have been my answer, and he was so small that now I'm looking at you as a very specific scheme fit.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of teams are just going to push him down the board, and it'll be what it is. There are some guys that have the athletic profile to do that.
Can Jihad play edge?
Campbell?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just asking. I'm just here for the questions. That's all I'm here.
Yes. Jihad Campbell, to me, is an edge.
Yeah. We're running out of questions. We're actually getting there. Who was the really long-armed kid?
Oh, that was the one we
couldn't quite figure that out.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. Dana figured out the arm length, but I never saw a name. It must have been one that happened in a commercial break, and I just didn't see it.
Why are Starks and Eamon-Worry falling down mocks? Is it simply because they play safety?
Yes. Safeties we have. Look, this happened with Kyle Hamilton, too, and I got news for you. Kyle Hamilton was a better prospect than either one of them. We get to a certain point where there are certain positions that are so non-glamorous and they're so non-sexy that if you give me any reason to push you down or out of a mock draft, I'm going to do it. Look, and I got to say this, and this is not a shot at people in the industry. This is not a shot at anything like that. I am too egotistical to do things for clicks.
Yeah.
I can't speak to anybody else. I don't know. I've never asked anybody that question because I think it would be disrespectful. And I'm newer in the business than a lot of these guys are. There are a lot of... I saw a guy earlier today, and I didn't ask him his name, but I talked to him for a minute. He's been covering the draft since before it was televised.
Yeah.
That guy's got this on lock. I don't think he's out there for clicks. There are some people that are. They put things out there. They know that they have to get the engagement. They know that they have to get people listening, which means you're going to get a fourth quarterback in there if I can shoehorn it. You're going to get as many skill position guys as I can. I'm not going to do that.
Nope.
And I'm not saying my way's better. I think my way's more genuine. I want to be right.
Yes.
I want to provide content
That's
for
correct.
the people that listen to the show that they can go, that is tangible. Not just I pulled a nugget out of my keister and, hey, watch this so that that YouTube and people will pay me money.
That's not what we're here for.
No, and I'm not saying that people do that. I think there is something non-sexy about a 6'3", 235-pound linebacker safety that hasn't run yet. Now, just mark my words on this, the defensive backs run today.
Yes.
And so when you see gigantic Nick Eamon-Worry as the third fastest guy in the safety class, and then he has some ridiculous vertical, and he's got all the measurables, don't be shocked when you start seeing him in the first round of mock drafts here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen.
Philosophical question for you. Should the Combine follow the draft and start traveling amongst fan bases?
Hell no, hell no, hell no, no.
That's pretty definitive.
Let me. I don't know. More. We get asked this question every year, and I'm not upset at whoever asked it because we bring this up all the time. There is no city in America, and trust me, I've seen every NFL city at least 3 times.
Yep.
There is no city that is so equipped to do what it is that we're doing here.
No, it's built
Because you have look, it's a specific fit. You have to have a city that loves having this thing because it doesn't bring a ton of money.
No.
All right, so you get all the NFL guys, and yeah, they're out in bars and they're out in steakhouses and they're eating things like that. It's not bringing 50,000 fans, and it's never going to, and they don't want it to.
No.
So you got to have a city that's okay with that.
Yeah.
You got to have a city that it's the worst kept secret in the world where we're all eating, where we're all having beverages after the drills are done.
Yeah.
That's not every NFL city.
Yeah.
We're in Charlotte, or we're 2 hours outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm down there a lot.
Yeah.
A country music singer walks into a bar in Charlotte and they get swarmed. What do you think happens if we take this on the road?
Yeah.
Indianapolis, they don't care.
No, they don't.
They do not care. They love having us here. They are very kind to us. Every
Super
Uber driver,
supportive.
every
Server.
everything that we've had here. They love the fact that we're here. They see the credential, and the first thing they ask, it happened to us today. We were getting a Coke in the stadium. Hey, where are you from?
Yeah.
Do you like working in sports? Awesome. That's what we need. The problem is, there's not a lot of cities like that.
No.
There are a lot of cities that people are going to go hunting for Mike Tomlin, or hunting for Andy Reid, or hunting for Travis Hunter. Indianapolis is perfect.
Yep.
This never needs to move ever.
Yeah.
You can have the draft. We'll bounce it around to all 32 NFL cities. Over the course of your life, your team city will be there. Go, enjoy it, love it. I think Green Bay is going to be awesome. It's going to be a massive headache for people like us to get there because there's not a ton of hotels around there. And I think they're quickly going to figure out you get one of those because we're not going to ask guys to do this again. But in terms of the combine, no. Indianapolis forever.
It's phenomenal.
And that's coming from a guy that does not live here and has I've been here twice in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I've loved it both times.
I got 2 more for you.
Hold those for, because we're coming up against a hard out.
Yep.
So hold on to those. We'll put those in the mailbag for the end of the 3rd hour.
Yes.
And we'll answer those questions. I'm Jeremy Green. He's Armchair Commentary and Great North Sports David Smith. We're live. Ingles 2025 Living the Dream Tour at the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. More workouts to talk about, more players to talk about, and we do it right after this on ESPN Radio Asheville, 92.9, 880, and 1400. 20 on the dot. Let's go.
There you go. Is our friend behind us?
Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
You kept looking around me. I was like, is there a big scary animal that's about to eat me?
I thought Jeremy saw our mouse friend. We have a mouse friend.
Yes, we have a mouse in this house. It is the smallest little mouse you've ever seen.
It's unbothered. It comes. Because we have been sitting in the same chairs forever. We usually are sitting here, and we'll look over, and you see him kind of dart out, and then he skirts back, and he disappears, and he goes back into the basement, and then he doesn't bother us for the rest of the day.
For sure. But he's an asshole.
But he is there.
And his wife's a skank.
Best live ever.
For sure.
Best live.
By God, if you
ever.
make it out of this one, still following us. All right, so do we have enough questions to just roll into another mailbag and then we'll finish with the daily draft?
No, we have like 3 or 4.
All right, guys, if you've got questions, flood those in right here. We'll knock out the last mailbag, and then David and I will end this stream with daily draft of players that we are looking forward to working out over the next 3 days.
Yeah, that works.
Bradley Presley said, Mr. Jangles. Oh, we should name him. We should name the rat. And he's not a rat, he's a mouse. And when I say it...
It's going to be a little tank.
Oh, hold on.
You going to put a baby tank?
No. I Googled other names for mice.
Yeah.
Gnar was...
Gnar.
Gnar. No.
Trogdor.
What are you going to do tomorrow night, Ray?
Nor.
Zoinks! North!
That's so good. Get those last couple of questions in. Appreciate you. Detroit Fat Man, you could have left it. I would have got you.
And by the way, hamster, also another word for a mouse, according to...
It's free to say stuff, hey?
according to Merriam-Webster, another word for mice is hamster.
No, hamster's something different.
That's a different thing.
That's an animal.
That's a whole different thing. That's not how the shit works. All right, just because they're similar doesn't make them the same thing.
Yeah.
And if that's not the most 2025 shit I've ever had to say out loud, I don't know what is.
All right, we probably got enough to.
All right, I gotta run to
the
I
gentleman's
got to
room.
piddle because I cranked down about 2/3 of a monster just to keep myself functioning.
Look, Brett, 2.5 hours alive. This is what we do.
Yes, that's why I wanted to do the last mailbag. I didn't want people to have to wait through another 30 minutes to hear the answer to the question.
No, we'll get one last mailbag done. Who do you guys think I should be looking forward to working out? You tell me who you think I should be looking forward to working out. I'm gonna let chat pick my daily draft. I'll give you guys 2 of my picks. So chat, if you want to answer, you guys want to answer who I should be most looking forward to seeing work out over the next 3 days. I'll be happy to take those suggestions. I should look up David L. That's a great call out. Biker Mice from Mars that's an elite pull. An elite pull. Odor, I don't know. Probably. I would say probably. We can figure that out when you get here. Or do you need to know right now? Biker Mice from Mars. Do you remember Biker Mice from Mars?
I do not. That sounds like some god-awful movie that a girl I went out with in high school would have made me watch.
It's a cartoon. From 1993.
Oh, boy. You know, I just have a theoretical question before we hit recording.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call somebody that makes chairs? Are they a chairsmith?
No.
A chamberjack?
We have the internet. What do you mean?
A charrier?
What do you mean? What is someone? What do they call someone who makes chairs? We Google that shit. What do we even mean? They just call him a furniture maker. He's just like
Okay, so a furniture maker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
a craftsman, a joiner.
Oh, hell, according to Merriam-Webster, it'd probably be a lumberjack.
Also a hamster.
Yeah. Also hamster.
Hamster.
When you sit down as a furniture maker and you go, I'm gonna make a chair.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not think, can you sit in this chair for more than an hour? Should be somewhere in the questions that you ask.
I don't know. I'm at 227 and it feels like bad.
I've gotten up 4 times.
Real bad.
And it's real not good.
Oder, you gotta bring something? Bring chairs.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't care if they're lawn chairs. For the love of God, something's better than this.
You got some Adirondacks we can slide.
Because we're doing a full live mock draft after the last workouts on Sunday, completely live. Holy crap. By the end of that, I'm going to feel like I'm sitting on my keister hole.
Yeah, every time we finish recording, the first thing that happens is move.
Must move.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready to do that last Mullets mailbag?
Yes.
And here we can go as long as we need to. We'll just shave it off the daily draft.
Yep.
This feels like we're doing a live studio audience recorded show.
Yeah.
I'm kind of enjoying this because it shows what happens in between segments.
Yeah.
That was an unintended consequence, but it's worked out nicely. All right, here we go. Final live segment of the week here on ESPN Radio Asheville from the Indianapolis Scouting Combine. Just a scheduling note, I am traveling Monday, so we will not have a live show on ESPN Radio on Monday. I will be back on Tuesday. We will have YouTube content. I've talked a lot this week.
Lot.
This week I've said much words.
So many words.
Too many words. Anyway, we will not have a live ESPN radio show on Monday. We will be back on Tuesday with all of your draft content, and then we're going to really start diving into the off-season.
Yes.
Off-season files, we'll be doing those probably 4 a day because we're starting later than we usually do. Teams, the amount of money that they have, the amount of cap space that they have, free agents that they're losing, and guys that they could add. Now, we're, for the last segment of this here week with Armchair Commentary, we're going to open up Mullet's mailbag one more time and answer the questions of the peoples.
Who has the higher upside, Jared Ivey, Kyle Kennard, or Josiah Stewart?
Depends on the system. If Jared Ivey is asked to be a 3-4 defensive end, he would be my answer. Because I think he's going to go the latest of the 3. Kyle Kennard is really, really talented, but I kind of feel like he is what he is. He's going to come in and he's going to be a really good pass rusher.
Yes.
I don't know that he's ever going to hold up against the run enough to be a 3-down guy. And Josiah Stewart is just so small that I don't see any way he's going to hold up as a 3-down guy. Josiah Stewart's going to be Elvis Doomerville. I'll go ahead and tell you, if I don't know that I've ever been more comfortable with a projection in my life of he's going to stand up, he's going to come off the edge, and he's going to be so dadgum fast that big offensive linemen can't get their hands on him. And with the arsenal of moves that he has, he's going to consistently get around the edge.
Yeah.
Jared Ivey is the one of those 3 that I think could be a 3-down player. It's just in a very specific spot. I had him to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in my last mock draft, and it was one of my favorite player-to-team alignments.
Yeah.
There are other teams that could do it, but I think that's the one where I go, you just make sense.
Yeah. Jeremy, have you heard anything from Kaimon Rucker? Did he run yesterday?
He did not run. He was going to run at the pro day.
Yep.
I don't think it was injury related. I think that was at the advice of the agent.
Yeah.
Kaimon Rucker is one of those players that he really needs everything to go the right way. And so and I got the question earlier of should this guy run, should that guy run? It depends. If you go to your pro day and crush it, because in pro days are just so different. All right, so I said this at the start of the show. The combine is just so sterile.
Yeah.
If you come here and you allow us to put you through the ringer, we've perfected this over the course of a very long time. And the reason we run these drills, and I heard this said on a recap show before we came on, if we're asking you to do something at the combine, there's something in it that we're thinking we're going to get out of this. And we've perfected this over a long time. So it's such a wide array of skills and such a wide array of position-specific things. If you think you're going to come here and do things that push yourself down, don't do them.
Yeah, we saw that happen today.
I've never seen an NFL team, and I'm not going to say it didn't happen. I'm just going to say I just think that I've never seen it. Where a guy comes to the combine, weighs in, does all of those things, but he doesn't work out, and a team goes, we're pushing him off our board because he didn't work out.
No, they just ask questions.
They ask questions, they interview, and then you go to the pro. If you're really interested in the player, you go to the pro day. That is something that they completely build the program of what they're going to do, what they're going to show. And if there's something that you don't show, these teams have been to so many of these over such a period of time that they go, Cayman Rucker didn't run drill X. I wonder if there's a reason for that. And invariably, the answer is yes.
I want to take 2 quick seconds to say thank you to the people of Asheville and to the people that are listening to this show for supporting me, filling in for Tank. Greatly appreciate it. And
we appreciate you for filling in for Tank.
It's really super cool to see because you have some of the smartest listeners out there and the deepest dives that I've seen, including this question, which is Jay Higgins a 5th or 6th round? Where else are you going to find people asking about the 5th and 6th round on a show?
Which I love.
It's amazing.
I thought Higgins was a sleeper. He was a guy that I really liked, and I was really looking forward to kind of batting that around. And I'm still going to, don't get me wrong. He ran so slow that it really makes me wonder, can we get around that? I mean, he was the slowest linebacker by like a full 1/10 of a second.
Yes.
And that's unsettling. So he's a good example of what I said before.
Yeah.
I've never seen a guy that it's not like he had a big spaghetti dinner, and that's why like all of a sudden he was at the training facility and he was running 4.55s, and then he comes here and runs a 4.89, and everybody in his camp goes, "Ooh, what happened?" Yeah. You've been working on this for weeks. You knew exactly what you were going to do when you came here. So why did you do it?
Yeah.
It's always dumbfounded me. We have guys like that every single year. Right now, based off the workout today, I would say he's a 6th round pick because the team is still going to look at him the way that I did. Of he's a value in terms of the player, in terms of the film. But it's also possible that he goes completely undrafted, because he falls into that priority undrafted free agent thing, and he starts looking at this going, I ran so poorly. I made a bad decision to run. I made a bad decision to work out. And now I've hurt myself. And if I get into the 6th round and there's a team that does, because 6th and 7th round picks are not considered, they're draft capital, but they're not. Because you have the money to go out into priority undrafted free agency and get guys that are basically the same grade.
Yes.
That's the reason when you look at the Jimmy Johnson chart, there's such a stark drop-off when you get into the 6th round. Because that's almost considered like free agency, where I'm picking guys that are willing to come here. You'll get guys that start saying, just don't draft me.
Yeah.
Let me pick my spot, because I fit specifically into system A.
Yeah.
And so their agent at the start of the 6th round will start calling all of the teams that run a system like that and going, do you have any interest in my guy? Where is he going to line up on the depth chart? In terms of initial, not what can he earn. I need to know where you're going to start him. Because if you're Higgins, I'll use Higgins as an example. If he's going to come in as your 6th linebacker, and I'm looking at the depth chart going, there are 3 guys that they're committed to, I'm stuck. The only way I'm going to go there is if I don't have anywhere else to go. And I'm going to try to show out in the preseason and land on somebody's roster when I get let go at the end of the preseason. Because my goal is to stay off the practice squad. I want to be on somebody's 53-man roster.
Yes.
This is just like you're a baseball guy.
I am.
My objective, I may have to play in the minors, I want to be on the 40-man roster.
Yeah.
Because when we get to the playoffs, I want to be on that team. Because if that means I come in as a pinch runner or a pinch hitter or a situational, I face one batter and I can put some tape out there, that's what I want to do. So if I'm that guy like Jay Higgins, I want to be able to come in and play special teams and show, hey, look, I can play special teams. This is why I should be on your roster. My goal is to make the 53-man roster at all cost.
Yes. Why do you think Darian Porter isn't a first-rounder? Seems like the ideal size, speed, etc.
Because he's super raw. He was a wide receiver until 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. He has one legit year of actually running cornerback tape. He was a special teams guy for 5 years.
Yeah. He's
super raw. That's why I don't think he's a first-round pick. I have him in the 2nd round because, well, there's not many guys that are 6'2" that are – I don't know how fast he will run. If you told me he ran a 4.28.
Yep.
Okay, I believe it. If you told me right now I had to bet on his 40 time after what I saw today, and I had to go over under 4.34 and a half, I'll still go under. That's
Yeah.
how fast this kid is.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of guys that have that. There's not a lot of guys that have that catch-up speed, which is why I'd be willing to go round 2. But you're basically talking about a wide receiver that's masquerading as a corner, and it super shows.
Yeah.
The technique falls apart sometimes. The thing is that he's so athletic that he can catch up. Savon Ravel has some of the same things. He's just been playing corner for longer.
Yeah.
There's no I don't even know what word I want to use here. There's no nuance to the technique. There's no plan really.
No, there isn't.
And you get into complete breakdowns of your skill set. And all right, I'll give you an example. If somebody is really just a turd bird
Yep.
and not a good human, let the government come chasing them for tax fraud and watch what they do.
Yeah.
When my keister's on the line and I'm a turd bird, I will sacrifice everyone in my life to make sure I don't get in trouble. This is a weird analogy, and I get it, but I really wanted to use the opportunity to go TB twice. When you play on the outside in the NFL, technique is everything. If you're an off man, if you're a press man, if you're an off zone, whatever the case may be, you have an arsenal of weapons that when everything is copacetic, it's fine. I'm really fast. I play off in zone. I'm watching the quarterback's eyes, and I can do all of these things. What happens when you get into a situation where you can't do what it is that you want to do, and you have to trust your technique and you have to trust your skill set? And I've run an eighth of the snaps that every other corner in this class has run. What's going to happen? The technique's going to break down. And now you're going to become an athlete out on an island against an elite athlete. That's why I don't look at those guys in the first round. Darian Porter could come in here and run a 4.14, and I'm still not going to put him in the first round.
This is a conversation that you and I had on day one when I first arrived about 2 running back systems. Colts seem to be having quite a few formals with running backs. Who was a guy that you liked that could fit as a running mate behind Taylor?
Oh, that's a good question. That could run behind Jonathan Taylor. So my initial thought would be Taylor's so good between the tackles that I want somebody that can get out into space. Brashard Smith's my first thought because he's a pass catching weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, he's running with the receivers. And I think there's a nice yin to the yang there. The problem with running backs, all right, I'm going to go on a little tangent here. Sorry, it's what I do. I do like Scadaboo too. Scadaboo is a name that crossed my mind. He's very similar to Taylor. So here's where my problem comes in when you start talking about 2-back sets. Every team should have 3 to 4 running backs that they trust to some level.
Yes.
When you're talking about a complement and you're talking about using draft capital and things like that to build out your roster, I want somebody that complements my running back and does what they don't do. Or what they do the least, because I'm going to need to get rest snaps for Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor plays an insanely high percentage of snaps for the Colts. If I'm going to use a 2nd, 3rd, 4th round pick on a running back, I need a guy that I can trust to come in for 15 to 20 to 25 snaps a game. And I don't think there's going to be a huge drop-off in what he's going to give me in that particular set from Jonathan Taylor. That's a compliment.
Yep.
It's one of the issues I have with Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell doesn't do squat that Saquon Barkley doesn't do. It's the reason I keep giving running backs to Philadelphia, because Saquon's workload is starting to ring up, and the older and older he gets, I need those rest snaps for him. I need him over on the sideline, not necessarily for a drive at a time, but I need to be able to run 3 to 5 plays in a row where he catches his breath, gets a little Gatorade, and thinks about his life. Jonathan Taylor, I'm not going to draft a Caleb Johnson. I see Chris Oder say that name in the YouTube chat. I'm not going to draft a Caleb Johnson that's going to run between the tackles, because there's going to be a drop-off to Caleb Johnson. That's not what I want him to do.
Yeah.
I want to find somebody that can catch, somebody that can pass block, somebody that's maybe got a little nuance to their game that I can swing them out wide because Taylor he's not a bad receiver. I just don't think he's an elite one. Kind of falls into the same thing I used to say about Leonard Fournette. Yeah. Just because you can run volume does not mean you're good at it. I want somebody that's a weapon in the passing game that can take some of those passing game snaps off of Jonathan Taylor, where he's set back even in a delay block, and he's picking up a linebacker, he's picking up a blitzing safety, and basically I got a guy that's just taking a free shot at him every single time we do that. That's what I want. And I think Brashard Smith is such a weapon out of the backfield that he could be really productive there. Marcus Yarns from Delaware is another one that I thought about off the top of my head. I'm going to look at my running back list and see if there's anybody I'm forgetting. Trevor Etienne's not a terrible one. Bashel Tootin from Virginia Tech, who's another guy that could absolutely run. He could throw up a number that's dumb when the running backs run. Those are the first handful that came to my mind. Jaden Blue, also another one. Just tying two questions together.
Love when you do that. Is Xavier Watts closing the gap from mid-second to late first?
I don't think he's going to get into the late first, but he could be in the top 10 picks of day 2. The problem with Watts is that I don't really know what the high side is. I think you're getting a ready-made product.
Yeah.
Which good teams are going to be. I'll tell you. All right, and this is I'm expounding probably further than I should here. 60 days out or 55 days out from the draft. Xavier Watts strikes me as the kind of player that one of the teams that pick in the top 5 to 8 of the second round, they look at one of the high-end playoff teams, whether it's Buffalo or Kansas City, a team trades up to get that fifth-year option on a player. One of the playoff teams drop down, and then Xavier Watts is the guy they pick in the second round because it's a ready-made player that I can play right now. I don't really care what he is 5 years from now. I care, can he contribute to a team that I'm trying to win a Super Bowl right now?
Yeah.
That's why I don't see him getting into the – he could get into the back end of the first round. I just don't really care as much about the fifth-year option.
Totally.
And so for me, it'd be better to get assets to give that up and then get him in the first 10 picks of the second round. But he is getting closer.
Who's the safety that could become the next Jesse Bates?
In terms of just, I'm going to assume you're asking that can become just an absolute ball hawk, but you don't have to draft all that high. Kevin Winston Jr. was the first one I thought of because I just absolutely love him. You know what? I'm going to go less off the board. Mm-hmm. Bates is not the biggest guy I've ever seen. Andrew Makuba. I love the player. I hate the body. But there are certain players that they're just so good that it doesn't matter that they're short or... Look, Jesse Bates is not a guy that is notorious for coming up as a blitzer or anything like that. I'm not saying he hadn't done it. What Jesse Bates does so well is watch a quarterback's eyes and absolutely manipulate you in obvious passing downs. And I think Makuba can do that.
A question for the tight end whisperer. Which tight ends are people overrating? And is there a tight end that people are underrating?
Overrating's Harold Fannin. The numbers he put up are skewing people. I would say we're overrating Mason Taylor to a point because he went to Mobile and showed all of the things that we wanted him to show in a three-day set where he couldn't be hit. Elijah Arroyo, because we got injury issues with him again.
Yeah. And
he will not run. He's going to try to run at the pro day from what I heard last. I don't know that that's that would be the three I would say we're overvaluing. Undervaluing is Mitchell Evans, and I will scream that from the rooftops. I think Mitchell Evans is the top 5 tight end in this class. Mm-hmm. I think he is a stereotypical inline tight end that can win contested at the point of attack. Smaller safeties are going to struggle with him because they can't deal with his size. Linebackers are going to struggle with him because they can't deal with how physical he is. I love Mitchell Evans. I don't understand why other people don't. I would say he's the one that's underrated. And then almost like an asterisk to that, Rondé Gadsden, because he's a wide receiver that we're calling a tight end. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. This thing in my hand is a mouse, and not like the one that lives in the wall of the house we're staying in. It is a computer mouse. I can tell you that this is a rhinoceros until I'm blue in the face. It doesn't make it a rhinoceros. It's a computer mouse. That's what it is. Rondé Gasson is a wide receiver. You can call him whatever you want to. You can call him a tight end. You can call him a wide receiver. You can call him an elephant for all I care. It doesn't change the fact that's not what he is.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say people are overrating him. You're just looking at him in a way of he's going to be Darren Waller. Well, you do remember that Darren Waller couldn't block to save his life. He played for 3 teams before the Raiders were his 3rd team. And then he went to the Giants and was completely irrelevant. So that's a very specific fit.
Is there a prospect that's not doing as well with interviews?
I won't know that as much until...
We'll start hearing that rumor a lot closer to draft day.
No, I'll start hearing it before that.
Yes.
It'll be more... The teams are very much sequestered through this. We see them. We more see them out at bars at night and have a cocktail with them, and they don't really want to talk about players. They more want to talk about the old days. Yeah. What will happen is that they'll all go back to their respective cities. They'll start talking, and then we'll start convening with sources, and that'll start filtering out. I haven't heard that namely, but I will keep my ear to the ground over the next 3 days of the workout to see if there is an answer that we already have.
Will Landon Jackson go top 15?
No.
No, I don't think
But
so.
I do think he could sneak into the back end of the first round. The athleticism he showed in the workouts yesterday was special.
We've got just a couple of...
And he's 6'7", too.
I don't have any other questions other than Shemar Stewart feels like the next Miles Murphy.
Miles Murphy's nowhere near the athlete that Shemar Turner is. I understand the comp. The problem with Miles Murphy for me was always production, and that's where the comps come with Stewart. It could be. The thing about Shemar Stewart is that there are a lot of iterations of him. So he shows up here at 267, which is basically a great big way of he is waving sparklers going, I think I'm an edge rusher.
Yeah.
The thing with Shemar Stewart is, okay, let's say he comes into a scenario where he's playing 4-3 edge, and his first, this is a kid that's still only 21 years old.
Yep.
He comes in 4 years. He doesn't quite hit. The 5th-year option is declined. He hits free agency at 25, and an NFL team sees him and goes, hey, you remember that thing you did in college where you played up and down the line? I know it's not what you want to do, but you had 4 years to play edge, and it didn't pay off. Now we're going to bulk you up to about 285, 290 where you played in college, and we're going to do that thing now. And you're going to play 3-4 end. You can play 4-3 defensive tackle. Miles Murphy doesn't have that. Murphy is one thing. He was an edge rusher, and he was an edge rusher that I didn't particularly like. So I am not shocked that Miles Murphy is where he is right now.
Yeah.
I will be nominally shocked if we're there with Shemar Stewart, even though the production wasn't there in college.
The only other question was in regards to the 2-ring drill. Have not seen that before. Just wanted some more insight as to what the benefit of that drill is, what it shows.
The best way I can explain it is when you were younger and somebody would tell you to pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time. Yeah. I want to see what you can do and how your cognitive is running, because it's a very simple task, but you're having to do them simultaneously. And you're having to do them simultaneously at full speed. That's a lot of it. And a lot of it is coordination, just to show that there's nothing in this drill that's overly difficult. Mm-hmm. Do you slow down to process doing all the things? It's like the kid that couldn't pat their head and rub their stomach.
Yeah.
And then they slow it down, and you see what they're doing, but then their hands start spinning in circles above their head. It's because their cognitive's not firing it the way that you want it to. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. Was that the original intention of the drill? I couldn't necessarily tell you that, but that is what it's used for now.
Yeah.
I want to see that you can do 2 things at once.
That's it from the mailbag. We've answered the mullet mailbag.
I hope all of the answers were good. I hope I gave all of you that asked questions what you were looking for. Went for that. Ooh, that was a long. Tank would be throwing his hands all the way up, going, "Hey, time! You can't go that many times."
Yep.
But you left me in charge here in Indianapolis, and that's what I did. We will be putting out content all weekend long. That will do it for us on ESPN Radio for this week. We will be back on Tuesday. Monday is my travel day back to North Carolina. I will be reassessing, putting all the notes together, and getting ready for next week. we will be putting content out on the channel. It's about, when I say drinking from a fire hose, you're going to understand what I'm talking about quick. I also want to announce this for the people that watch our Patreon. Dave and I conspired this. I think it's a brilliant idea. He said it, and once he said it, I went, that's great. So I have a server that has player tape. So something I'm going to start doing Monday of next week for our Patreon subscribers, you can ask me a player. You can ask me a player and a tape. Mm-hmm. I will not pre-watch the tape. I'm not going to tell you that I haven't seen the tape. The chances of me remembering it off the top of my head are not really high. I will take the raw tape that I have and I will break it down for you, showing the deficiencies and the perks of a player. And that's something we're going to start next week. So if you have guys, and if you don't care what tape it is, then I'll load the games that I have into an online picker and I'll pick one.
Yes.
But we're going to start doing that for Patreon subscribers. The Patreon's about to go nuts with prospect evals. I'm going to be doing 1 minute evals for YouTube. There'll be about 5 minutes for Patreon to really dig deep into what you're getting from a player if your team selects them.
Absolutely.
Dave, I appreciate you literally more than I could ever say. After now 4 days of being here, I could not have done this week without you. To take your time, your PTO time from work, your time away from your child, your spouse. I appreciate you so much. I'm so glad you were able to come down here and do this. It's been an absolute blast. And hey, what says we do it again next year? Maybe Indianapolis about this time?
We'll figure it out. Appreciate everyone in Western North Carolina for tuning in and listening and tolerating my Canadianness for the last couple of days here.
I'm not going to know what to do when I hear the word about and it doesn't have two O's in it. That's what this week is all about. I'm Jeremy Green of ESPN Radio Asheville, at ESPN Draft Nerds, where you can find me on Twitter. You can find all of our draft content at NFLDraft.net. He's David Smith, Armchair Commentary and Great North Sports. Check him out. Subscribe to him on YouTube. We got to get him monetized so we can steal him for good and have him doing this stuff, like permanently. Just showing up and talking football and baseball and hockey and lacrosse and caribou wrestling and rodeo. I don't know what they do in Canada. He keeps explaining to me where he lives, and I'm like, it's got water. It looks like it'd be cold water, but it's got water. Buddy, I appreciate you more than I can say. It's been a blast. We still got a couple days here. Check out the YouTube for all of our content. We will see you right here on ESPN Radio 92.9, 880, and 1400 with the rest of the Living the Dream Tour brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets Tuesday. It gets crazy with the draft. We appreciate you, and everybody have a great weekend. I'm Jeremy Green. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, I lost track of time. That's my bad.
Oh, you're good.
Radio. Hey, friends, appreciate you all. Oder, we will see you tomorrow.
We actually will see you tomorrow, Oder. We do have one segment left. If you guys want to hang out or not hang out, that's totally up to you. I wanted to make sure I got to your questions, before it hit midnight and we hit 3 full hours of recording. Although I will say doing this live keeps us on pace.
Yeah. Are we in with Oder for Jeffries? You want to do that? Is that what we're doing?
I can be in. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out when you get here.
Yeah. Oh wait, that's Saturday.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We got like a ton of drills because we got quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. What's that all about, hey?
A boot.
So I was watching the combine drills, and they ran around in circles, and none of them had any sticks. I didn't understand. There was no skates and no ice.
Yeah, that circle drill. I'm not gonna lie, I forget about that drill every year.
Yeah,
because I put damn near nothing into it. I'm not gonna lie, I shouldn't say that. It's not that I don't put anything into it. I don't put a ton into it because it confuses some guys so damn much. Yeah. And it's one of the only drills where they go, he missed the bag, screw it. We saw what we needed to see.
They're like, touch the ground while you're running fast.
I saw I think it was the defensive line coach from the Ravens that was talking about what you're really looking for at the combine and what you glean from this. And one of it was, his answer was obedience.
Yeah.
Can you listen to what I have to tell you and do what I ask you to do?
Yeah. Mullet doesn't pumpkin after midnight. No. Mullet emerges from his cocoon of nonsense after midnight. It gets weirder and weirder and weirder as the night goes on. You don't pumpkin.
No.
We get silly.
Well, I mean, you got to understand, I don't sleep.
get-
I probably have sleep issues that most of the people listening to the show have never met a person that sleeps as little as I do.
Yeah.
Although now I've met David Smith, and I feel like I don't know that you can function like this all the time. But then again, I wouldn't think I could function like this all the time.
We're doing fine. We're doing fine.
Hey, it's 11:46. We got one segment of ESPN Radio left to cut. Mm-hmm. We're so far ahead of where I thought we were going to be.
Yeah.
And that means we could actually get some sleep.
What are we doing? Daily draft?
Yes. Guys that we're looking forward to seeing over the weekend. So any of the position drills that we still got.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yep.
Yeah. Is there a drill Sunday?
Yeah. Offensive lineman.
Oh, okay.
Which, yes, we will make an appearance. No, we will not stay for the entire thing.
No.
And then we'll come back here. We're going to do and that's a good content reminder. We're doing our live post combine mock draft, which Dave and I have estimated how long this is going to run. It's going to be a minute, though.
Strap in, gentlemen and ladies. It's gonna be a wild ride.
It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
It's at least a full vape pen for Jeremy.
Oh, with these. These die quicker. They don't have my vapes here in Indiana, or at least at the vape store I went to. Of which I'm not going to lie. I walked into a crime store and went, please God, tell me you have nicotine or I'm going to kill somebody.
You went to get the vape and it turns out it was a crime store.
Oh, yeah, and it was a 100% crime store, too.
Bob Marley was playing in the background.
God bless, that place smelled like... That place smelled like gym socks and Pine Sol. It was awful.
Yeah.
Bradley Presley said, radio show equals great. Live show between the shows fucking awesome. This may be one of those ideas that we came up with that we didn't mean to come up with.
But it works so much better.
It could work so much better. But because look, with all the things Tank does,
yeah.
You know what I just realized? I'm an idiot. Tank's gone next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, Tank's out of town. There will be no Tank.
Yeah.
I just... That, my friends, is why the Parks Ford guy called and said, hey, I can sit in for Tank. Because I was like, well, I mean, surely to God he's gonna be able to work by Tuesday. Oh, he might. He's just going to be in Washington, D.C., like lobbying senators and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that means my next week's going to suck.
You know what you should do? This.
Crimes?
You were at the crime store. You should do this. This is more efficient anyway. We're 3 hours in, and we're way fresher than we were when we were doing it live.
You know, that's not a horrible idea.
I'm just saying, if you have to do it.
That's not a horrible idea.
And we're giving the people what they want. We can say the dirty words.
That's not a horrible idea.
Say the dirty words. You can do it from your studio.
I could do it from the studio. I just do it a day ahead.
Yes.
So, record Tuesday show Wednesday and leave open a segment. See, because I can dial in at any time.
Yes.
So, like, if breaking news hit, I could dial in.
Yeah. Cut into it.
It's not a terrible idea. Uniter, not a divider. I mean, we've only been doing this 5 years, and we're still figuring out, hey, this is smart.
This is what happens when two guys get together. We get one full brain.
Well, yeah. I'm not contributing half to that. That's like the, what is that moon necklace that best friends wear? Where when you put the two pieces together, they turn into one moon?
It's a circle.
And it never starts. Never ends.
Woo!
It bothers me how often we've done that over the course of this week.
We are we're so lucky this is not on that one.
For sure. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I should probably name
Yes, you should.
The one we just did. And make sure that I have all of the pieces in that I need to have in.
Bill Booty Cheek says if you want to do crimes, you should have gone to Jim Irsay's house. And
I'm scared of the crimes at Jim Irsay's
that
house.
Jim Irsay doesn't do like normal crimes. He does like expensive crimes.
Hell no,
and he does a lot of them.
That dude's smoking like Bronco semen. It's just because cocaine doesn't do it for him anymore. Like, Jim Irsay's one of those guys that can't call normal escorts anymore.
You ever straight line jalapeno dust? Because I have.
You ever leave a pickle out overnight and then eat it? You'd be shocked what it'll do to you.
You've not done bleach pickles? Is that what you were talking about here?
And then what's crazy is when you boof it. It's just, and then you're smelling sounds and tasting colors.
You guys want to smoke some bleach pickles? It's where you put a pickle in bleach, let it dry out, and then you light it on fire. Hashtag Jim Irsay.
By the way, this is a good time to point out, tomorrow, if you live in North Carolina and there's a show that runs in North Carolina, because there are 3 of them, I'll be on all 3 of them at some point tomorrow. When I said I had to respond to text messages and my 2 text messages turned into 5, that was why.
Yeah. We're trying.
Doing the best we can.
It's all we got.
Okay. All right. Oh. Oh, that's the wrong one. That son of a bitch needs to be thrown at that mouse. That's what I'm going to kill the mouse with. That dead blue vape right there.
Please do. Amazing.
Good Lord.
Amazing.
Oh, God. That was like having dinner with my ex-wife. Yeah, it's food, but fuck, it hurt. I mean, I had to eat. I needed nicotine, but God Almighty, didn't have to be so painful.
Oh.
Oder said if we don't do Jim Jeffries, we can go see Sam Talent. He's playing at some bar that's like right down the street called the White Rabbit.
All right.
I went to a White Rabbit one time. I saw a girl that had a trick with a ping pong ball that changed the way I look at the world. Oh no, that was the spearmint rhino. It was a color in an animal. It's easy to get confused.
Hamster is a mice.
It was in a mouse hut called the Hamster Trap.
Oh, this is what you asked for. This is like anyone that wonders what happens when Armchair and Jeremy get together. And it's this. There is no supervision. There are no grown-ups on this trip. Oder, I don't know if you want to go down, but this is it.
Dude, we have eaten nothing but fast food. We have literally. His spouse has called and said, "Hey, what have you seen of Indianapolis?" And his answer has been our Airbnb for 4 days.
I also saw the convention center.
And
today
today's
we
all
got
oil.
Lucas Oil. It was cold outside.
Hell yeah, it's gonna be
cold.
It is gonna be colder than hell Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. Bradley Presley asked, "Are you sure you actually saw a mouse, or was that just a sleep deprivation hallucination?"
Oh no,
there's 100% a mouse. At least I think there is.
See it
could
day.
be. Now, in fairness, I didn't see it until day 3 of being here, and I've seen it about 10 times since.
Yeah. It's
when we come in here to record, it's almost like he feels the vibrations in this room, and he goes, "Ooh, time for me to come out to play." And he runs into the kitchen and spins around the kitchen table.
Yeah. Because
we have 800 fast food bags in our trash.
Yeah. Yeah, you can smell the food.
And he's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna come hang out with you fat bastards."
We're gonna have to figure out what to do with that, by the way.
Trash?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a trash can outside.
We'll take it outside. We'll do that.
I mean, we'll do it in the morning because it's
we're not
dark.
doing it now. I'm not doing it now.
It's dark, and that's
I'm not getting crimed in the middle of Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, I just feel like Jim Irsay's got to be outside, and he's going to try to put a hamster in my ass if I go out that door right now.
Story time. We did have police yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. We had a very sweet cop show up at the door and ask if we called about a stolen Amazon package, and my response was, "This is an Airbnb." Then I realized I've ordered an Amazon package every day I've been here.
They have 4-hour delivery. It's like it's overnight.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's It's insanity.
It also led to me getting the first belt I've ever had that needs its own instruction manual. Because I can't figure out how to get it off.
He's got the belt on. He's like, I don't know. And he stepped out.
I finally stepped through it. Like,
still in the hoop.
it's like a fucking hula hoop. And now I figured it out once I got out of it.
It's still
I did. I clicked it in place, and I was like, "Man, this looks good." Oh shit! I can't get out of it now, and I'm wearing track pants.
It was still fully in the hoop.
And Notorious B.I.G. said, "It's not a mouse. It's Jordan Schultz spy camera. He's coming to whip my ass." I met Jordan Schultz. He better have a big fucking rock in his hand.
Gator don't play no mess.
Gator don't play no mess.
You want to come for us? You better not miss.
I swear to God, I'd slap the shit out of him and go, "You my boy in blue. This one's for Rap Sheet."
Oh man! All right, let's focus up and get this done. We
Yes,
get out of here.
one more segment, and God bless the 24 of you that have hung on to this point.
We appreciate
where sleep delusions have.
We're just giggling like
They're the
children to ourselves.
They're the carte blanche of the day because they have taken
Tim says
over.
we might have to get Tank on Zoom. We might need grown-up supervision. But he's asleep.
Yeah, he's 7 hours away. He can't tell me what to do now.
He's 7 hours away and 7 hours into a nap.
And
he's out.
And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say he's probably medicated to high holy hell right now.
Yeah.
He took a little spillsies.
Dennis is feeling angry. Might go pick a fight at Starbucks later.
Yes. Feeling angry. Might go start some shit at Starbucks.
Starbucks is the capital of FAFO.
I do have to say this, though. I feel like Dunkin' Donuts missed a hell of an opportunity.
Do we get a shirt with just a green circle in the middle and the FAFO graph?
Oh, no. We create a shirt with a...
It's like Rap Sheet's face.
We take the green logo.
Yep.
And we do something with the draft behind it.
Yep.
And underneath it, it says, "I survived the great Rap Sheet Schultz fight 20... Oh. We make a fight poster with their faces.
Poster. Yeah.
The only thing is Jordan Schultz had to be up here and Rap Sheet had to be down here.
Rap Sheet measuring in at 3'11".
If you haven't seen the Pat McAfee skit bit from today, go
see it.
Holy shit, it was good. All right, we got to record this last segment so I can eat that fish sandwich and go to bed.
Yep.
Oh, Cheese Nation UK said this was probably the best for Tank. He moves around a lot, gives him a little rest. Well, it would have been good for him, except he keeps trying to accidentally kill himself.
He crashed a scooter today.
He didn't just crash it; he
broke it.
He broke it while he was on it and went for a tumble ski.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, I ask Tank all the time. First of all, nobody would ever know this. Tank wears a bigger shoe than I do at 5'8" or 5'9", and I'm damn near 6'5". He also has bigger hands than I do.
Yeah.
Clumsy as fuck. I ask him all the time, how are you alive? How are you alive?
He doesn't know.
He trips over shit all the time.
He doesn't know.
Oh, we love Tank, though. Decent piece for Tank.
We do love
And he's
Tank.
been a fucking warrior about this because this was his favorite week of last year and he missed it and he's super sad about it. But he's also super happy that Dave got to come. It's one of those like conflicted, but I'm going to be a trooper about it.
And I appreciate that.
It also made his travel to Washington, D.C. a hell of a lot easier.
Hell yeah.
Because instead of having to drive 7 hours and then hop on a plane to fly 4 hours from here, which would have been funny.
You just fly from home.
And he lives right beside the airport.
That's perfect.
So his travel goes from a full day to 7 minutes. And
Yes.
wheelie scooter his ass on a plane. And, oh, God, they're going to let him board first.
It's going to go right to his head.
Oh, yeah. He's going to board with the old ladies. Anyway, all right.
Daily draft.
Last segment, daily draft. Here we go. Scoot in just a little bit. You're really close to the... There we go. The Sportsocracy is on ESPN Radio Asheville 92.9, 880, and 1400. It's the last hour of the week of radio, but it's not the end of the content. We are going to be putting out stuff from Indianapolis. It will be exclusively on our YouTube because this is the last hour of the week. Davis is our last hour of radio together. It's flown by.
maybe not forever, but
Oh, no,
at least
certainly
for
not
now.
forever.
At least for now.
Yeah, anytime Tank can't, you're in. And anytime I can't, you're in. We're going to call Dave and go,
This one,
call the lefty out of the bullpen.
yeah,
Let's go.
yeah.
It's been a week of mouse hallucinations and fast food. We've actually made David a true American in 4 days.
USA.
I mean, he developed a caffeine addiction. I think he's fully addicted to Monsters now.
Yeah.
He's eaten every god awful for you fast food known to man.
Yes.
And he's yelled obscenities at a mouse.
I think that about covers it.
You get you a little dipping tobacco and we're full on America.
I need a flag for the back of my car.
We get you a bald eagle, sit that bad boy on your shoulder, you start talking to it.
I need a
citizen,
full-size flag for the back of my car.
oversized. Let's go.
Yeah.
Daily draft time, and we obviously did not get to offensive position rankings. If you want to see those going into the weekend, they are on my website at nfldraft.net. I apologize we didn't get to go into one of the things we missed when we said, hey, we're going to do that. Oh, yeah, the workouts start, and we should probably cover what happened. So we boo-booed that, but those rankings are up on the website. So we're going to try to combine it all into one. We only have one more position group defensively. They're going to work out today. It's the defensive backs. So we're going to go daily draft. Players you are most looking forward to seeing working out over the next 3 days.
Yes.
No parameter to this. You can take any position so long as they did not work out on Thursday. And I'll give you the number one pick.
Ooh, going number one. I'm going to snake your boy. I want to see Jackson Dart.
Oh, no. You want to see my future quarterback of the New York Football Jets?
Absolutely going to throw. I was thinking about Cam Ward. It was absolutely on my mind, but it's still unconfirmed at this point.
He's not going to throw.
He's not going to do
I
anything.
have it on really good authority. He's not going to throw.
So if Ward isn't doing anything, then Dart becomes the QB to watch working out, and I'm absolutely interested to see what he's going to bring to a division rival.
The thing about Dart is, and I'll be honest, I'll extend this one step further, and I'm not going to draft this guy, but I want to lump him into this, Will Howard. Mm-hmm. You talk about a guy that has been brought up by practically every person that I have talked to around Indianapolis this week. Those two are interesting because they have so much deeper of a depth of tape.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you got to understand, Cam Ward only played 1 year at a high-level conference.
Yeah.
And that high-level conference was the ACC. So, I mean, I
Yes.
said high-level conference and I did bunny ears around it.
Yeah.
Doing air quotes. I've seen him at Washington State. I saw him in Incarnate Word. I've always liked the tools. I said last year that I thought he would have gone higher in last year's class. The more I've thought about it, and I think it was Rap Sheet that put this out, that he would have had him, or maybe it's Daniel Jeremiah, somebody from NFL Network, said he would have had Cam Ward behind Drake May, behind Jaden Daniels, and behind Caleb Williams last year. I would have as well.
Yeah.
I would have had Cam Ward ahead of McCarthy, right there with Penix and ahead of Nix.
Yeah.
And I would have had Shedeur Sanders behind all of them.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart, I would have had ahead of Bo Nix, but behind, and ahead of McCarthy, but behind Penix.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, confirmation that I 100% am going to have Jackson Dart ahead of Shedeur Sanders as my number 2 quarterback when my rankings start coming out next week, unless Dart comes out as just terrible.
That's what I want to
And
see.
he would have, and when I say terrible, I mean he would have to be awful.
Yeah.
The better question for me is, does Will Howard start to threaten Shedeur at the 3-4 flip?
It makes things very interesting very quickly.
Because Will Howard's a player, I don't know that I've ever seen anything like this, where everybody that talks about him loves him.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a negative word all week.
No, we haven't.
And he is an older guy. That's a story for another day. But I do understand why he said that. Jackson Dart, your first pick.
Yes.
I feel like I have to get not necessarily cute. You know what? The first one I'm not going to get cute because I'm very, very excited for this workout. It's Darian Porter, the corner out of Iowa State. I'm not sure that he's not going to do things that we've never seen before. And I'm not talking he's going to break the 4.21, but I do think 4.2s is very much in play for him. I think he's so fluid, and now that I know he's not ridiculously tall, he was listed at 6'4". I watched him on tape enough times to go, I don't think you are.
Yeah.
Now I know he's 6'2". That's a little different. Now I want to see how fluid are you in the drills. How fluidly do you move in short area burst? Yes. I know he has track speed, long track speed. I'm more curious of how do you move in terms of dealing with shiftier receivers that play on the outside.
Totally.
Because we're getting to a point. First of all, I think Darian Porter's a no doubt outside corner. Mm-hmm. But I'm curious how he would deal with somebody like Tyreek Hill, per se.
Yeah.
If Tyreek plays on the outside as opposed to in the slot, how are you going to deal with that technique-wise? And do you have the footwork to make that happen?
That's going to be the ultimate question.
So that's my first one is Darian Porter. My two, Brashard Smith out of SMU. He's going to work out with the running backs and the wide receivers.
Yep.
This is starting to really feel like an Antonio Gibson, Cordero Patterson. And I mean, there's actually a couple of these guys. I'm really intrigued to see how he works in the running back drills. Mm-hmm. He's only played this position for a year, and he ran for 1,300 yards in the ACC.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the SEC or the Big Ten, but it's not the WAC or the Sun Belt either.
No, it's not.
And the more I watch the tape on him in terms of just raw prospect, the higher and higher and higher up my board he gets, to the point of he's starting to threaten getting into the top 5 among running backs for me just because of how high the upside is.
I totally get that. That makes sense to me. I'm really interested in the offensive prospects in this draft. They are not as deep as they were a year ago.
Not on the high side.
Not on the high side, yeah. So I am going to go running back. I am going to go Caleb Johnson. Your number 3 running back.
That is my 3. What is it about Caleb Johnson that you want to see?
I think we know what we're going to get with Marion Hampton. I think we know what we're going to get with Ashton Genty.
Well, Genty's not going to do anything.
Not going to do anything.
You're going to see Genty standing there.
But we know what we have there. We've seen it. I don't think it's a mystery. I think that Caleb Johnson has the opportunity to make a difference in his draft positioning. There are more teams that are looking at running back after what we saw with Philadelphia, after what we've seen with Detroit. I think that you're going to see more people focused on that 2-back system or finding a bell cow and having it supplemented. You're going to need 2 solid running backs, and Johnson could put himself in phenomenal position with a good workout, and I'm really curious to see how it looks.
Well, I can tell you with Johnson that one of the things I'm intrigued to see is, can he catch?
Yes.
Because I don't have a huge depth of knowledge there because they didn't throw to him very often.
No.
So I do want to see him running through those running back receiving drills and see how he deals with the jugs machines, and I'm intrigued by that. I think that's a good selection, and a guy that I think he would have to just blow up the workout on the high side or the negative side to really move his draft stock. I haven't talked to anybody that doesn't have him 3.
Yeah.
Or at least in the top 3. I do know one individual that has him ahead of a Marion Hampton. I also know several individuals that have a Marion Hampton ahead of Ashton Genty.
And that's, I considered that. I considered that as an option, but I think I'm more curious about the depth pieces in this draft further down the later rounds, guys. Speaking of which, we have a couple of receivers who have some significant upside. We have a couple that we know about. Abuka's in there. We have
Ayu Manor.
But I'm actually more interested in Tez Johnson.
This is an interesting answer to this question. Explain your reasoning. I'll go ahead and tell you he was on my list too. He's a little further down, but he is incredibly intriguing.
There's something about looking at Tez where I'm like, first of all, We had talked earlier about Patriots being terrible drafters of wide receivers. And I look at Tez and I go, maybe there's something there that we can actually use. I'm really curious if he's a potential late round steal. I think there's a lot of upside. He's fairly raw. A lot of these guys aren't fully polished products. And there's going to be a lot of sit and learn. My team isn't going anywhere next year. They're not competing for a Super Bowl, so there is opportunity to grow and learn with the quarterback like Drake, who is fairly accurate, can scramble and get the ball to guys. So I'm selfishly looking at late round wide receiver because the Patriots have mentioned they are not expecting to address wide receiver in free agency or spend the money that they have, the bajillion dollars. So it is likely going to be a late round grab. I don't think they're going early.
Well, I mean, they took 2 in the top 4 rounds last year.
They sure did.
Kellen Polk was in, or Jalen Polk,
Polk.
was in 2, and Javon Baker was in 4.
Yes.
The thing that interests me about Tez Johnson has absolutely nothing to do with the on the field.
Mm-hmm.
There is a possibility he's one of the smallest humans that I've ever seen on the football field.
Mm-hmm.
There is a possibility that the metrics come back on him, and I have him projected at 155 pounds.
Yeah.
I am super curious to see what he comes in here weighing. I'm super curious to see how he runs. I believe he has a chance to get in the top 50. That's how good he was in Mobile.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I had him in the top 100 anyway.
Yes.
Then he blew it up at the Senior Bowl. You come in here and blow it up because he could run super fast.
He's quick.
I have 2 that I said I wasn't going to take them with my first 2 picks, but if they came back around to me, Jalen Milroe's the first one.
Yeah, you got to see Milroe.
I'm not sure that he can hit the broadside of the ocean, even in shorts. Jalen Milroe has a possibility. I think he goes somewhere in round 3 or round 4 as it sits.
Yeah.
Just as a full-on lottery ticket, there's a possibility that he's so inaccurate because this is not his cup of tea.
No.
And I watched him in a similar situation at the Senior Bowl, and he was absolutely awful.
Yes.
I'm curious if he comes in here more short, accurate, more focused, knowing that your athletic future is at risk here. Because if he comes in here and he's just spraying the ball all over the place, now we're talking about going into 5, into 6, maybe all the way into 7. I think he's too athletically gifted to fall probably beyond the 5th,
Yeah, that's fair.
but he could.
He could.
And then I feel like anybody that's watched draft coverage of mine knows the name I'm getting ready to say next. It's Savvy Williams.
Yeah.
Savion Williams he's going to work out with the running backs as well. He's a 6'5" running back wide receiver that he does not have a position. There are also not many guys that are 6'5" that can play running back. He would be one of the tallest running backs in NFL history.
Yeah.
And I actually think his better position is running back. I think he's more of a running back than he is a wide receiver. He's just so good with the ball in his hand. But I watch the running back tape and love him. I watch the receiver tape and see Laviska Shenault just bigger.
Yeah.
I hate that I have to use that name over and over again, but Laviska is one of the few players I've ever seen that he came in as a quarterback and a running back and a wide receiver, and he never had a position. Savvy's in kind of the same boat. But I do think he has a position that's obviously better. It's just it's a specific team that would be willing to take him and use him as I just see it's such a weapon that could develop there. Mm-hmm. He also could be completely irrelevant. I just find that to be less likely.
I think that I need to. So I've addressed my quarterback and my wide receiver, and I grabbed a running back. I should grab someone from the offensive line side of things. Kelvin Banks Jr.
I don't know that he's going to work out per se. I would say there's a great chance he's going to do the drills. I didn't realize how low people had him, and I can't really put my finger on why.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, it would be one thing if I was looking at the tackles in this class going, oh, yeah, there's no doubt day one starters, 4 or 5 deep, maybe guys that play left or right tackle. What we're running into in this class is, are you a tackle or a guard? And that happens with a bunch of these guys.
The note on him from an AFC area scout was, I wrote him up as a guard for us. The game he had as a freshman against Will Anderson was maybe the best game of his career. That's from an AFC scout.
Yeah, he got into a look. He was the best offensive lineman on the best offensive line in America. So I hear some of these things from nameless, faceless scouts, and it's, how do I say this delicately? Because I don't know who this person is.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't believe you. You wrote him up as a guard. The director of college scouting probably took that piece of paper and crumpled it up and threw it away.
You know what they said? This is worthless.
Because this is dumb. Because he's not a guard. Every snap he ever played at Texas, save back to his freshman year, as we're talking about, was at tackle.
Run block grade was 81. Pass block grade was 89.8. Zone
89.8 pass blockers that are that big do not become guards.
No. Zone block grade was 81.5, and his gap block grade was 70.8. I'm interested to see it. If he does something, I think it's there. I'm just putting him in there. I think it'd be an interesting workout. I want to see the drills.
I 100% agree with you on the drills and how he moves. I look at Kelvin Banks and go, there are only 2 grades on him that I could understand, and it's either he's on the backside of your top 10, maybe in the low teens, or you've got a back into the first round, beginning of the second round grade on him. Anything outside of that, you start talking about guard from this unnamed scout, I don't buy it.
Yes.
I feel like that you wanted to say something cute to make you sound smart, and trust me, that happens a lot.
It happens so much.
A lot.
It happens a ton.
All right, one more for you. Right here, and then you have one more after that.
I would have said Shador, but we're not getting Shador. And that's sad.
It's not sad for me because I don't care.
It's not really. Look,
Shador throwing on air, and I'll be honest with you, I think it's dumb that he's not throwing air.
I think it is. Absolutely.
Because this is earmarked for him. This is exactly the place where he could start threatening is he the best quarterback, especially with Cam Ward not throwing.
Yeah.
Just a missed opportunity.
I'm going to go with Trevor Etienne.
Okay. All right.
Again, it's the pass catching. Are we able to see someone that has the ability to be a complementary back? A lot of these guys are able to do the base run back. Can they run between the tackles? Yeah, sure. In college they can. It's different in the NFL. I think you and I both agree there. It's not the same thing. But if you can find yourself a niche with a lot of running back hungry teams, especially catching passes out of the backfield, all of a sudden it makes you a little more tasty when it comes to draft rank.
So Trevor Etienne, I'm going to give you a comparison to him. Do you remember the movie Avatar?
I didn't watch it.
You never watched Avatar? Okay,
at a principal. Came out, Hype Machine said, you got to watch this movie. And I said, no. And then it kept going, and I said, I'm never watching Avatar. Held to it to this day.
So that's what that feels like when I say that to people. Because I've even seen Avatar. I'm not a science fiction guy.
Yeah.
So Flying Blue people really didn't do much for me.
Yeah.
But I kept hearing how it was James Cameron, it was the best movie ever made, blah, 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 blah. I feel like that's what happened with Trevor Etienne. Yeah. Is that Florida and now Georgia, we've been told, oh, this kid is so talented, he's so good. We know him because of his last name. We know him because of his brother. And he has just let us down at absolutely every impasse, to the point that now I feel like the scouts just look at him and go, nope, not doing it. Nope, been burned by that. It's like going snipe hunting.
I want to see it.
That's how. Now, I think he is talented. I don't know where. I personally don't know where to put him.
I want to see it for the chaos it could create.
If he's really good,
runs
really fast.
If he all of a sudden he runs really fast and he's catching balls really well, and all of a sudden like the scouts are looking and they go, maybe we're wrong. We have to redo.
Maybe
that.
we boo-booed this.
And all of a sudden he's the guy that's rocketing up the running back rankings.
All right, I'm going to go Josh Connerly Jr.
Yep.
because he could do some
Fun things.
He could do some dumb, ignorant things here.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, you got an offensive tackle that's that big that runs a number that's shocking.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily see that happening. And then if he was here, I would say Willie Lampkin, T's and P's, WL. We didn't get that, and it makes me very sad. I'm gonna go Arian Smith.
Okay.
I don't know how fast he is.
You want to see it?
I don't know how fast he is.
Mm-hmm.
I know there is a possibility, if all things are equal,
Yeah.
he's one of the fastest players I've ever seen in person.
Yeah.
And I saw Tyquan Thornton.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Xavier Worthy last year. I don't know that I remember ever seeing a guy that watching him just run in a straight line in a practice, I ever saw a kid that free release could run that fast.
Yeah.
And I don't know the number he's going to throw. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be real fast. I saw somebody in the YouTube chat said, I'm looking for who said it. I know what they were talking about Isaiah Bond. I can't see now who it was. I think it was Notorious B.I.G. He was talking about Isaiah Bond running faster than we think. I don't think he's going to run faster than I think because I have him at 4.3. I have him at 4. If he
That's
runs
pretty
considerably
fast.
faster than I think he's going to run,
That's-
then shoot buddy, then he's going to win the combine.
Yeah, he won.
I have seen some higher 4.3s, and I could believe it. I think this is earmarked for him, and it's going to be closer to what I said.
Vincent was one of the other options that was.
Carson Vincent, the offensive lineman. He's intriguing to me. I'm not going to say he's in concrete for me, but
Yeah.
I don't think I can put him any higher than I actively have him after seeing him at the
Yeah.
Senior Bowl. So if I get him any higher, then I'm going to start thinking, he becomes like a Creed list player of, can you take me higher?
Yeah.
Then, that's a list.
That is a list.
That's content. That's coming.
This is what happens.
That's coming. All right, that is our daily draft here of players we can't wait to see at the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. We're here live, been here all week. We'll be here all weekend. David Smith, Armchair Commentary, Great North Sports. I'm Jeremy Green, ESPN Radio here in Asheville, 92.9, 880, and 1400. We will be back after this commercial break. We're going to open up Mullet's Mailbag one more time to close the week.
What do we got for a mullet mailbag?
We're done.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And we're done.
Yeah.
It only took us 3 hours and 36 minutes to record 2 hours and 25 minutes of content.
And we had way more fun doing it.
For sure. Yeah, we only had an hour of fucking around. Last night, or whatever day we did, I can't even remember when we recorded that show. It took us almost a full day.
That's because we did half of the show and then we were toast.
Then we're dead,
And then we did the other half of the show in the morning.
which was a dumb idea.
Dumb idea. We were like, we'll get rest. We did not get
We
rest.
did not get rest.
Mark's safe for me and Rappaport and Andrew Schultz.
For sure.
That's a,
Mark's safe for me and Rappaport and Andrew Schultz trying to whip each other's ass.
Can I make that in camp?
All right, everybody, it's 12:24 in the morning we still had 24 concurrents at 12:24 Eastern time. That shows the love. We appreciate you greatly. All right, the content schedule for the rest of the week. We will be at interviews with players in the morning.
Yep.
We'll be back about midday. We will do the workouts tomorrow, and then we'll do another live tomorrow night. It will be much shorter. We're going to try to have some fun while we're here. Maybe get out into the public. Chris Oder will be here as well. But we will be continuing to bring live content. We'll schedule that out. You'll get the alert when it gets scheduled out. We'll figure out how the schedule works. We're just kind of flying by the seat of our ass.
Yeah. Appreciate everyone for jumping in and thanks for the questions. And it's coming.
It's good times, and it's 12:25, and everything's loaded, and all God's children said good night. We're live 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. David Smith, Armchair Commentary. Jeremy Green, NFLDraft.net, at ESPN Draft Nerd on Twitter. You're at
Sportsocracy GN on X.
Sportsocracy GN on Twitter. I refuse to call it X because X is stupid.
X gonna give it to you.
And oh God,
We got to get out of here.
It is dangerous for us to be around each other. All right, guys, everybody have a good night. We appreciate you so much, and we will see you tomorrow live right here from Indianapolis.